Oh my God, bro. Let's stop.
Game is a constant journey. What is something you have learned recently, even at your level?
Make sure she's not trans. This is incredible, and we are all counseled. Don't we look at us? Don't we just look like we're going to end up on some U.S. terrorist watch list? Like, look at us. You saw that happen to Rollo. Like, all of a sudden they put him on some watch list. That's so going to happen to us. Look at us.
I hope not. I don't want to
Wait,
look
what?
like of Snowden.
When we have a bikini competition, you got to come
Oh
out.
yeah, I'm definitely trying to get out there. So me and my
Yeah.
people's gonna definitely come out there. Yeah, we got to.
It's just the end of it's like the first or second Friday of every month in the summer. We do it for like 100 grand.
Oh, nice. That's dope. That's what's
Damn.
up.
To think I have a chance at that.
Wait,
There
you
you go.
get paid 100 grand to host a bikini show?
No, I don't get paid 100 grand. I get paid maybe 20, but the girls all together get 100. I have to recruit all of them. I have to recruit 300
That's
girls.
fucking amazing. No, that's still really cool. That's awesome, man.
Think you could put it off in Toronto? Justin?
I mean, the weather's pretty shit, but in the summer, probably, yeah, I probably could do something like that.
Actually, yeah, now that I see you guys here, Justin and Michael, two solid social circle guys. So fuck, I forgot about that. So that would be pretty interesting too. Ross has come a bit later. There's two other guys. I'm not sure what's happening with those two.
Is Ross Jeffries going to hypnotize us?
Probably. Probably.
That's crazy.
We're going to sing a mantra. We deserve the pussy. We deserve the pussy. Is that what we're going to do?
Bring it to me. I did see that Kezia Noble was invited to this. She can't come actually. But I did see your episode with her. That was pretty funny. You mentioned
Kezia is
that Ross
hardcore, bro. Kezia is hardcore, bro.
What do you mean?
She's just hardcore, man. She's more hardcore than than most male pickup artists. She's more hardcore than they are.
All right, we might as well get started. Oh yeah, Playing with Fire's coming just about now. But let's kick it off right here anyway. So, alrighty, guys, welcome back to the dating coach panel. We got some more people joining later, so hold on to your nuts, as Michael once said. I don't know why I keep saying quotations Michael has said to me before. He's in my head. But anyway, this is a great opportunity to get perspective from a variety of coaches, and not only do we get different perspective on different things, that's valid, of course, because we have our own experiences, but on some questions we get the same answers, so we know very clearly, or watching this very clearly, what the answer is and what the answers are not. So that is to me, one of the things that really stick out about what we're doing here, because this isn't really something that's done with anywhere else, because we have so many coaches on at the same time. Our timing is always crazy though. But anyway, let me do some quick intros. We got Justin Marc calling from Toronto. Obviously, I know where he is. Mr. Locario, I do not know you actually, and we never spoke before, but where are you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, so I'm out here in the East Coast.
Perfect. East Coast. There we go. Representing the East Coast. We can do that. And we got Michael Sartain, as you know, the man of action himself, calling from Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm on the strip right now, right next to I can walk to the Super Bowl.
It is so close. It's crazy, but it's such a car-dependent city. That's what really got me because it was my first time on the West Coast back in October a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it was just like me being so used to the Northeast USA and the East Coast of Canada. Everything's just so car dependent in Las Vegas and seemingly California and everywhere else.
Well, if you're up in like downtown, or if you go to the Arts District, it isn't. But you're right. Like most of the part, like you can't just walk. People think you can just walk from one side of the strip to the other, and it's easy, and it's not that easy.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah,
it's so fucking large. I did it like 6 times over the course of a few days because there's so much to do. Anyway,
oh shit, man! It's 4 p.m. out there in Miami, man. Alex, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I know, 4 p.m. I just woke up.
Yeah,
Bunch
no,
of
bro,
better
I'm
ones.
right there with you, bro. Look at me. I was asleep like a motherfucker.
This motherfucker
Oh,
Good too, man.
playing with fire called me at 5 a.m. his time. Not 5 a.m. It was like 5:40 a.m. for him. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just about to go to bed."
Don't we look at us? Don't we just look like we're going to end up on some U.S. terrorist watch list? Like, look at us. You saw that happen to Rollo. Like all of a sudden they put him on some watch list. That's so going to happen to us. Look at us.
I hope not. I don't want to
Wait,
look
what?
like Snowden.
That's crazy.
What the fuck happened with Rollo?
Yeah, I never heard
So
about
it
that.
wasn't just Rollo. It was several content creators that were put on a U.S. watch list, including Andrew Tate, Rollo Tomassi, Myron
Holy
Gaines.
fuck.
On
They're
a
put on
terror watch list, though?
Well, not really a terror watch list, but so it's really funny. So I used to work in counterintelligence in the Air Force, and I was there from when the Bush administration ended and the Obama administration began, and it was really crazy because we would do these meetings these security meetings for the base, and I'm not kidding, guys. In 1 month, it went from left-wing radical Islamic extremists to all of a sudden right-wing domestic terrorists. Like that's all we cared about looking for. And so they'll put these people that they see as dissonants on these watch lists. So right now, because the administration is politically liberal, then what they'll do is they'll find people who they don't agree with, who are politically conservative, and say, well, these people, it's like, I don't like what you're doing, therefore what you're doing causes terrorism and it causes school shootings, therefore talking about men improving themselves, that we should put you on a watch list. That's kind of how this works. And you'll, by the way, if we have a Republican president, you'll see the opposite shit. That's just how it works. And I've been a part of the intelligence apparatus, on and off for a few years. And I'm telling you, that's just how it works. And by the way, it's not as extreme as it is in Russia. In Russia, it's like you say anything bad about the president, they just throw you in a fucking gulag. In the United States, we just put you on a watch list.
I think by the time we get to the end of the year, you'll probably go straight on the watch list just for saying someone's pronouns incorrectly. Although it is correct, it's just my different
The
special
pendulum is
pronouns.
starting to swing the other way, if you see, on terms of the political correctness thing. It hit its peak like 2020, 2019, 2022 maybe, but it's starting to swing the other way. There's like a
I
lot
agree
of
with Alex.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like deliberately, me being one of them. I don't push it to I'm not gonna say the N-word or something, on camera or something like that, but I'll curse and say like inappropriate shit. Yeah, all the time. And there are a lot of people who do that on YouTube on purpose, and YouTube seems to be fairly allowing of it as long as you don't take it too far.
Yeah, I think Rumble causing YouTube to allow different kinds of
that's a big
speech
factor.
back on YouTube, and the inculcation of Elon Musk buying Twitter. I think those two things, what it did is it put a crack in the armor of like this wokeness. And now it's like they can't sit there and try to purvey one idea all the time when there's another idea that's being shown here, and so many people support it. Right. Of course, if somebody wants to transition over the age of 18, let them do it. Well, I have a problem with, if I have a 9-year-old daughter, don't explain to her how she should transition. That's my only concern. And so me saying that shouldn't get me canceled. And a couple of years ago, I think it would have.
Speaking of which, first question I got is quite related to this. So it seems that YouTube has taken down Justin Waller's YouTube channel. You guys get any comments on this? Michael, I know you're friends with him.
Yeah, we talked to Justin and I talked about it the other day. So Rollo also lost his Instagram. He lost 2 Instagrams. The Instagram is, and they permanently deleted the first one. Instagram is saying it's because he impersonated himself. He's saying he's impersonating Rollo Tomassi. They did something similar happened to me back in 2021, where I lost my Instagram for impersonating myself. I don't know if that one is specifically.
No, Michael, I can help you guys get that back. No, I can.
Oh, you can help him? Okay.
Same thing happened to me. The same thing happened to me 4 times over the last fucking 3 months. I got my Instagram back.
Did you have a blue check mark?
It's no. I used to have Meta verified, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't protect you.
Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. All right. Well, cool.
No, the Meta verification.
It does not. It does not. No, I know exactly what they're doing, and I know exactly how they're taking him down. But essentially, someone has it out for him. You can pay these like Instagram hackers to fucking like clone your account and ban you, bro. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so same thing happened to me as well. I fucking dealt with it the best I can. And oftentimes, I hate to say it, but oftentimes it's like competitors in the industry. So it's like dudes who someone has it out for Rollo, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're trying to fucking take his Instagram down. It says it's permanent. It's not actually permanent. There's ways to fix it. You got to do it quick though.
All right,
So,
Justin, I'll definitely put you in contact with him. Here's what was scary in my situation is that dudes were making fake accounts of mine and then asking girls to come to photo shoots and come to competitions. So like this was an actual like human trafficking thing. And so I wrote Instagram and I was like, listen, bro, I don't give a fuck about the rest of this. And I'm not doing this for status, but you need to give me a blue check mark because this is an actual, like, there's a human trafficking situation here. I recruit hundreds of models to go to these different events and nothing. Nothing. It was just so crazy to me how many fucking Bitcoin NFT fucking scammers I had saw with blue check marks. And in my situation, like people were actually at the risk of getting trafficked and Instagram wasn't doing shit.
This was before Meta, right? Before the Meta check mark.
Yeah, before the Meta check mark. This is way before that. This is years before that. Like, because I've been recruiting for bikini competitions since 2014. And I've done 56 of them so far. And like that, whenever I do them, or I will recruit for the Maxim party, or back when I used to go to the Playboy Mansion, when I would do those things, like I would recruit girls. Well, if girls are used to getting recruited by me, and all of a sudden they see a second account, it's like, hey man, I want you to come to this seedy ass fucking house over here in Temecula. Like that's the problem, and that was something that Instagram wasn't doing shit about. But anyway, going back to what you're saying, let's talk about Justin Waller specifically. Justin thought that this was a temporary thing and it was a mistake, and then Vice came out with an article stating that YouTube specifically was going after him because of his association. They called him the heir apparent to Andrew Tate. Well, right after that happened, I'll just let you know, Rollo is one of my best friends. He had an interview with Vice that was supposed to come up like the next day or in a couple of days, and he canceled it immediately. So that's essentially what was going on there. It looks like it was deliberate, or at least Vice is reporting that this was a deliberate thing from YouTube to get rid of his account because of his association with Andrew Tate.
Did the YouTube channel going down happen before or after the Vice thing?
Before. So you're trying to say, was it coordinated? Here, I'll see if I can pull up the article right now. It's
because this is somewhat similar to my story, but with Facebook. In 2017, Vice did a hit piece on me that I didn't even participate in. And then literally the next day or 2 days later, my Facebook account got permabanned. I was permabanned from Facebook. But that was before I even had a YouTube channel. So I do know Vice. I think what they do is when they release an article, they also send it to like YouTube and shit. Like, hey, look at this. You got this fucking crazy motherfucker on your platform. Do something. And they probably have, like a rep at the company.
Yeah, same thing happened to me when I was in Mexico. I had some bad PR, and they fucking took down my Facebook.
I don't know even what that means. Heir apparent. Andrew Tate doesn't have any kind of royalty. He's just like a fucking.
No, it's just like he's the next Andrew Tate.
Yeah, but what they want, it doesn't make any difference. What they want is associate. Guys, I'll tell you right now. You guys want to go get real popular on TikTok right now? Look up Mackin Murphy. I like Mackin personally. I think he does some good content or whatever. But his whole issue is that like he doesn't like red pill content. And so you look at him on YouTube, he'll get fewer than 100 views on a post. Those same views on TikTok will get 400,000 views. And it's very much anti-red pill, anti-Andrew Tate content. Andrew Tate embarrassed TikTok. And if you took what Andrew Tate did when he took advantage of the algorithm, he took advantage of it on all the different platforms, but TikTok is the one where he took advantage of it the most. They had the most egg on their face. And so because of that, if you make anti-Andrew Tate content on TikTok, your shit will blow up. If you make red pill content on TikTok, they will take your shit down.
That's so what I've noticed with TikTok. Yeah, what I've noticed with TikTok is I have actually made red pill content and it's been okay. But whenever I talk about Andrew Tate, even if it's neutral, like complete, I don't think I've ever made an anti-Andrew Tate video, but I made neutral ones where I just like, here's what he said, here's what I think about this. Those instantly get taken down. Like something totally, it's nothing even controversial. Andrew Tate talks about, self-improvement. Here's my thoughts on like literally the most like tame shit ever, instant taken down. And those are one of the few videos where I lose the appeal process every time. Most of the time my videos get taken down, I can win the appeal process. Those I have never once won the appeal process. But here's what's interesting on YouTube. I have a Tristan Tate interview. When this whole thing was going down, or shortly after, actually, after they already kicked off the platform, YouTube flagged and took down that interview. But I appealed it and I won the appeal. So it seems YouTube is at least allowing you to talk about Andrew Tate and allowing you to even have videos with Andrew Tate, as long as you're not Andrew Tate. Versus TikTok is just like like we don't want to see his face anywhere unless maybe you're talking shit about him.
Yeah. It's really interesting because that's essentially like the other thing is, oh, there's my newest
Oh
one.
my
Sorry,
God.
guys.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Do it again.
She's
Do it
yeah, she's
again.
that's my newest one. My newest
Yeah,
wrestling.
Michael Sartain always surrounded by pussy.
Yeah, no, Tristan got his I believe he also got his Instagram back. So I think they're making a delineation between the two brothers. I think that's also probably where some of that's coming from. Because I've seen a lot of Tristan Tate interviews that are still up.
Yeah.
Crazy. Similar thing happened to James Tusk. So the James Tusk tunnel has also disappeared from YouTube. There isn't much information about it, but people are suggesting at least that it's because of his Infield videos. So there's that too.
Do you know if his Infield videos had like does do anything that, for example, mine don't, like where he maybe films something, like I'm not saying he films sex videos, but and I'm asking a question, I'm not assuming, but that where he maybe like shows what happens inside the apartment or something like that, or there's not, it wasn't just purely like
I saw a trailer with some content with like some drugs in it. So like could have been related to that. Yeah, I saw like a trailer for like I think it was James Tusk and his buddy. They're doing some stuff in Colombia, and it was, I don't know if the trailer was on YouTube, but David Bond actually sent me the video, and I was like, whoa, it was like straight up like fucking drugs in it. So, like if that video ended up on YouTube, or I think if it even came across YouTube, and they might like associate him with that, right?
Oh fuck, that's fucking weird.
That's scary me though, because I make Infield. People always ask me, do more Infield. I was like, fuck, every time I make an Infield, I roll the dice a little bit.
Yeah.
Do they, Alex, when you do Infield, do they know you're doing Infield? Or
No.
is it hidden camera?
The girls?
Yeah, I mean, there's some,
I do blur the faces though.
Yeah, so you remember RSD, I talked to Owen Cook about this when the whole situation. So Adam Lyons was the CEO of RSD for a little while, and when the Alex Jones thing happened, Adam Lyons told Owen, he's like, you have to take down all the Infield video because they're going to cancel you. So RSD took everything down, and there were some other channels that were quickly taken down from YouTube because it was, I don't know, what the reasoning behind it was, but what I have noticed is that, I saw Owen about a month ago. He's now doing Infield videos again. So I don't know how that whole thing works. He's gotten back into doing that. So I don't know, maybe he knows something, or he has some sort of advisor who's telling him that it's okay to do that again.
There was a purge. There was a purge a few years ago of all Infield on YouTube. It was like, if you had it, you were done. And I noticed one thing: if you post day game, you're way more safe. If you post night game videos, people they're like, what the hell?
Oh, interesting.
It's the algorithm. By the way, guys, I'll tell you one other thing that'll protect you. Have a microphone on your screen. Those of you guys who don't have one, show the microphone on your screen. For whatever reason, when I was on TikTok, when I started having the microphone on, nothing started getting banned. It's like I started seeing I got away with a lot more because this is now a podcast. A podcast is something you can bring advertisers to. A podcast is something where you're expressing your opinion, and that's fine. But when there's no camera here, or when there's no microphone here, then it's a different vibe.
Yeah, gotcha. One thing that I started doing, I think this will be a good tip for maybe Justin, because I know you do a lot of similar content, would be I moved over to like the street interview model, but still combining with pickups. So I'm holding a mic, right? The girls know they're on tape, but then I just pretend like it's not there and try to pick them up.
That's totally fine. So I talked to Jack Denmo about that, and he was explaining there's a federal law that states that if they see the microphone, that implies consent. So you're fine with doing that if they see the microphone. Adolfo Tex, he's blown up doing his man on the street type of interviews. So that's how he did it as well. That's what I recommend people do. Like is that whole thing. It's funny. I can't wait for somebody to get fucking banned or like thrown in jail because of that parallel live shit. Have you guys seen that?
What's that?
Yeah. No, I did a collab with them.
That app is incredible. So basically he walks around and it looks like you have 40,000 people watching you on Instagram, and girls just start they start grabbing your cock and rubbing their ass all over you just because you have a bunch of people watching you. It's on a live stream. It's fucking ridiculous. This guy, like I have a friend of mine in San Diego. So do you remember in the advertisement, he gets a comp bottle because this guy sees how many people he has. My buddy did it in San Diego. He also got a comp bottle. Like that's real shit. That's not even exaggeration. These guys are walking
parallel alive. That's the name of the channel?
It's called Parallel Live. Yeah, it just makes it, you pay for it, and you can make it look like you have infinite number of people watching you on a live stream, and it looks exactly like Instagram. And it's crazy. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if any of you had a show and your show was called Fuck All Women, that's what it was called, and all you did was trash women for 4 hours, and you had 4 million subs on YouTube, you'd have women lined up down the street to try to get on your show. As long as they get attention, I swear to God, they will fucking do anything, and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a content creator who, Ethan, I think his name was Ethan something, Big Brain Ethan, that was his username, but he created something like that, but I don't think
that's
the same guy.
That's the same dude.
Guy.
Oh, that's the same guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Genius. Hey, oh wait, who said that you collab with him? Was it you, Justin?
Yeah, no, he came out to
Justin,
Toronto. We shot some content.
Oh,
Dude,
you think?
I message him. I want him on my podcast. Ask him. I'll have him on
Sure.
my podcast. I would love to ask him about that. That is some of the crazy shit I've ever seen. It's such a great social experiment. What would it look like if I could just prove to women all of a sudden I had status? Would they flip a switch and then immediately want to have sex with me? And the answer is unequivocally yes.
I'm assuming how does he approach it? He's like, hey, by the way, say hi to my followers.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, you have like 20,000 live viewers. Be like, oh yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, dude.
Well, you know what? He
did
came
this
out
to
with me. Yeah,
Go
he
ahead,
came out to
Justin.
the club with me, and he was using the app. And I mean, some girls didn't give a fuck. Like some girls just straight didn't care. And then he's talking to a chick, and so the app actually has the programming where he says, "Hey Drake, Drake's watching. Yo Drake, come on the live." And then it has like a video recording of Drake, but dude, it looks real as fuck. It looks like he's on FaceTime with Drake on a live stream. And dude, this chick started freaking the fuck out. So like, yeah, man, this shit works for sure.
So dudes really be doing this type of shit? That's crazy.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't think it's a really good. I don't think it's a good technique. I think it's a display of like female psychology.
Yeah, definitely.
The future
This shouldn't work at all. This shouldn't matter. But it
imagine explaining this to your
anything.
grandpa, like, all right, grandpa, so here's how it works. So
and go get some clothes, grandpa.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well,
you guys had it wrong in the
crazy
fucking 50s. Yeah, that's a fascinating thing. I did something somewhat similar. I haven't released this video yet, but it's going to be released soon. I did a social experiment with Jasmine Jafar. I'm sure you guys know her, big titty girl, where I would be picking up girls, and then she would come in 30 seconds in and pretend to be a fan and be like, "Oh my God, I love your channel."
That's so great.
Pretend to be like a fangirl. And yeah, Justin, you basically with my thing was the same experience. Half the girls didn't give a shit, and half the girls were like, "Wow, really? Like, what do you do?" Blah 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 type of thing. I think his thing is that on steroids, because I think one girl coming up to you is not as potent as 20,000 live viewers. But yeah, it's a fascinating social concept.
I think in your case, actually, because she has like big titties and she's doing it like as a friend anyway, it's still compliance on her part. So
Yeah.
it's like either way, same effect.
It was 50-50.
Yeah, I do that. Before, when I was single, I would do that with Kindly Myers and CJ Sparks. That whenever I would be talking to a girl, they would come up and start like talking to her, like, "Oh my God, that's Michael Sartain," and come take a picture with me, whatever. And you're right, it's not everyone, but I'll give you a hint though. It's once the first one cracks, then other ones will start noticing. This is something Bilzerian and I were talking about this, where he would sit there with a group of girls and he would not turn things sexual, but one of the girls would turn things sexual and is usually like the hottest one. And when she did, all the rest of them wanted to follow along.
Yeah, the observation I made is that a lot of it had to do with like the girls like archetypes. So like the girls who were like a foreign girl from Argentina who just got here a year ago, works or whatever. Those are the types that didn't give a fuck. Yeah, the types that gave a fuck were like 21-year-olds who are like, partying in Miami. Those were the ones that were like super impressed by it. There seemed to be like a clear, like career women shit. They were like less who work in like as doctors or whatever, or accountants. They seem to care less. Versus like, anyone who's an influencer or modeling or anything along the lines of that, or especially also there was an age thing. Typically I found the girls that were like 21, 20. Those are the ones that really gave a shit.
The ladder climbers.
Nice. Let me just dive into some questions and just acknowledge that Jesse has joined as well as Brandon. So where are you guys calling from?
Dallas,
I'm in
Texas.
I'm in the sweet comfort of my couch right now. So you see my camera shaking all over the place.
Is that also located in the mysterious city of Dallas?
The mysterious DFW, yeah.
I don't know, those Dallas people are fucking weird.
Those
Excuse
fucking
me?
freaks, bro.
Excuse me?
He's talking shit, Sartain. We gotta get at him.
Anyway, next question. So while we're all here, a little bit of a sidetrack still, but what would be some interesting debates in this space? So me and Marcus Wolf were kind of brainstorming. We could do direct game versus indirect game, looks versus personality, natural game versus technical game. Have you guys ever thought about this kind of thing, or I
I've
don't
thought
know?
about this extremely extensively, but do you mean just topics or people? Because I think about more in terms of people. These are the people that I would love
People,
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the ones that are self-serving, which involve me. I think me versus Myron would be an epic fucking debate because we're both intelligent and both view the world radically differently. That would be, I think, one that would get insane views. Rollo, I'm always thought would be a really good debate if we could ever make it happen. I think Myron would be a bit more interesting though. Then let's see. I think another really good one. I would love to debate like what the fuck is her name? There's just I forget her name. She's like this kind of she's like Indian looking lady. She's all
Cynthia
over
Khan?
YouTube. Yeah, her. Yeah, but she wanted fucking $2,000 to do a debate.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Saint and the Sinner, that would be a fucking amazing debate. I've tried to debate him multiple times, but he also wants like fucking $2,000 for debate. It's fucking really weird when people
Hey,
want.
listen, I'll give Justin $2,000 to pick up this Indian one.
But in terms of people that don't involve me, I think it's really good when you get people who are polar opposites. Like I would have loved to see a debate between Kyle Kalinske and Andrew from the Crucible, or even Destiny on Israel and Palestine. And I tried to put that one up. Destiny was down, but I couldn't get Kyle Kalinske on board. I think stuff like that. I would love to see Jordan Peterson, for example, or someone like Ben Shapiro in a room with like Kyle Kalinske, or someone who's even more left, like Stank Uger or something like that. So like there's a tendency, or like Hassan versus Destiny. That would be the debate of the century. But it seems that like a lot of people on different sides, like there's some who are exceptions, but there's a lot of them who just don't want to talk to each other and they just refuse to talk, and they will cherry pick their debate opponents, which I hate because I'm just down to debate anybody. So yeah, there's other people like Destiny will debate anybody. I've seen that with, it seems like Ben Shapiro is pretty open to debating anybody. He's from the right, but yeah, so I don't know. That's kind
He's
of
open to rapping too. Like, how fucking crazy was that? I fucking looked at it. It was fair enough.
Horrible.
It was weird because he was rapping slower than he talks. So it's like, yeah, he could have done better. He's been practicing all his fucking life for this moment, and he fucking slows down. I don't know. Fucking crazy. Anyway, if there's nothing, do you guys have anything else to see on this, or move on?
Yeah, I mean, these are all interesting topics. It's really interesting. I was talking to Destiny about this. There's so much studying. I hit him up right after he went up on with Alex Jones, and I was like, dude, I know you probably spent 40, 50 hours because you have to plug in the holes from every single conspiracy that he's going to throw at you. And he was like, dude, yeah, it was a mess. Like, it's a lot of work in order to do one of those debates. I think, like, for instance, I would love to do an Israel-Palestine debate, but I don't want to ever get caught flat-footed. So that means for at least a week or two, I can't do anything else but study for that debate. I know when Rollo, this is just what I heard, before Destiny did that one with me and Rollo, he didn't even stream for 4 days because he wanted to be just rock solid on everything. So that's one of the issues, I think, probably why some of these guys don't want to do it. For me right now, like, if I do you remember I've debated a bunch of flat earthers before. Whenever I do those, it's like 12 hours of study just for me, because I have to go through all their cockamamie nonsense, and then I have to like debunk every one of them before I take them on. Because when you do a debate like that, if I were to debate Alex Jones, it's all you're on defense the entire time. It's nothing but defense. So I think that's part of the reason why. I don't think you have that problem with Andrew Wilson though, because I think Andrew like just believes what he believes about the Bible. And I know I think Ice you'd asked me and Alex you'd asked me to debate Andrew when it came to the concept of evolution. I think it'd be interesting. The problem is, Alex, I think it would be kind of too of a highbrow conversation. I don't think it would do very well. I just don't think people would care that
I mean,
much.
more like Evo's psych though. I know he'll probably bring back to evolution.
But I think he would agree with me a lot as far as a lot of the believe. So what Alex wanted was for me and Andrew Wilson to debate evolutionary psychology. And the thing is, like, if I were to say, Andrew, do you believe that most men find a certain hip to waist ratio attractive? He's going to agree with me, but he's going to say it's because God did it. And I'm going to say it's because natural selection. That's the only difference. I think the conclusions of evolutionary psychology, he'll probably find the same as me. The difference is he just doesn't believe in natural selection.
Okay. Yeah, I'll think on what you said. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'll see him. I'm going to see him this week, so I'll ask him. But I'm going to be like, hey, because, and the other thing is, I like Andrew, like, and I actually don't want to disparage a guy who's like trying to preach morality, you know, some level of morality on the internet. Like, I'm a Christian also, so I don't want to disparage Andrew Wilson. But the thing is, like, you know, even though I disagree with this, I don't want this to become acrimonious. I think that's the reason why I'm able to be friends with all of you guys and Rollo and Myron, and I'm friends with Destiny. And like, the reason why I'm able to do it is because none of this is personal. We're all just content creators. I'm actually more interested in the truth than I am in entertaining people. There's clips channels of me that are doing better than my channel because they put these outrageous headlines up there and these fucking thumbnails that are crazy. And it's like, my channel doesn't even grow as fast as theirs because I'm not doing that. So like that's one of the situations. I think that's why it's easier to like stay friends with people and have conversations. Because when you make it personal, dude, it's just, there's no way to come back from that.
I think if anyone can separate like the personal stuff from debate, it's Andrew. Me and him have had some like I like Andrew. He's a good friend of mine. We talked offline all the time. But me and him have had some heated ass fucking debates. I mean, like, we've gone at it, and we're not. I agree with you. Not a lot of people are like that. I think with most people, once you go personal, there's no going back. But with me and Andrew, we both kind of are just, you know, it's kind of fun for us. So we'll get into a heat debate online, then we'll like laugh about it offline for like 10 minutes.
But I would like to see anyone from Daily Wire versus James Sexton. That's what I'd like to see.
I'm not as familiar.
James Sexton is the divorce attorney from New York who he would crush, like he would destroy them because he has divorce statistics that kind of disprove a lot of their extremely like pro-Christian red pill beliefs. I think that's the one I'd want to see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, nice. Let's move on then to the next one. It seems like the pickup community has become less popular and the red pill community has become more popular. Even the black pill community has become more popular in recent years. Why is this?
I think I disagree with that assessment. I think that was happening for a while. The red pill community hit its peak, I guess, with Fresh and Fit when they were growing really fast, and then when Andrew Tate was over on YouTube, that's when the red pill community was at its peak. And I think Fresh and Fit, whatever, played a role, but really was Andrew Tate that brought massive awareness to this shit, even though he then denounced the red pill community. But that doesn't matter because, you know, if you watch Andrew Tate videos, what else is going to come up in the algorithm? Fresh and Fit, whatever, you know, it's going to be other red pill content creators. So whether he says he's red pill or not is irrelevant. So that's when I think it hit its peak. But then when Andrew Tate got kicked off the platforms, and then, you know, he wasn't making he was in jail, he wasn't making content, like the red pill community started to decline. You know, there was like a lot of embarrassing incidents with certain, you know, red pill content creators. And then at that point seemed to have gone in the other direction a little bit, where now there was like a little bit, there's some blue pill shit, some red pill shit, some pickup. Pickup has always been a very small part of the equation. The vast majority of people will never get in behind pickup because pickup messages like, hey, you have to do all this fucking shit. You have to go out, you have to talk to girls, you have to get rejected. It's going to be painful. It's going to suck. You're going to slowly improve. That's not a sexy message. That's not a message that 99% of people are going to be receptive to. It's going to be like, fuck this shit. So pickup will never be big. But it seems that like, it seems like from what I've seen, at least in the trend, the red pill stuff is, I'm not saying it's going away, but it's not as powerful or as pervasive as it was a year ago. I'm curious what you guys think about that, but that's been my observation.
I say, you know, like I agree with what you said with the pickup stuff is that, you know, with stuff like pickup, you actually have to do something. With red pill, you don't really have to do anything. You know what I mean? You're just listening to like what people are saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different type of thing. But what's interesting is because like I'm not a part of any of the pills or all those things. So it's like I'm on the outside looking in, and it's just interesting because just in general, it's easier to gravitate to things that sort of just that entertain you versus things that might, you know, be something that can teach you something. So like you know, for a person who's a pickup artist, they're trying to teach the guy something, whereas a person who just does red pill content, they're just explaining things in a certain way. So the person doesn't necessarily need to like do anything if they're listening to Red Pill. But if it's like they're thinking about pickup stuff, they can be entertained by it, but essentially it's like they actually have to do something. So then that sort of material or content doesn't really is not going to be that popular because nobody wants to do any work with any of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
The one other thing I'll add is I've just noticed, like, out of all these like pills, the black pill I think is by far the most toxic. It's not that like I like the
100%.
looks maxing, and I think they give like some good looks maxing advice aside from the surgery shit. But that's not the issue. It's the kind of people it attracts, and it just becomes like I made the big mistake about a year and a half ago of basically providing a environment where black pillars can express their views, and I would debate them. I debated like I don't know anyone who's debated more black pillars than me. I went through like all of them multiple times. And then it kind of attracted their audience because I guess my channel is one of the very few that doesn't outright ban them for being dipshits. Although they're too much of a dipshit, they will get banned now. So yeah, and like these dudes are like, oh my god, dude, like the level of toxicity is like insane. Like we could have like someone talking about like how to like a lawyer talking about this is how you gotta protect yourself. You're gonna get married, blah blah, and they're like, his nose is crooked. He should get plastic surgery. How is he even teaching about legal stuff? Look at how short he is. Like the level of like OCD and like bitterness, and it's all just like it's hopeless. Like we showed we did this podcast where we took a guy who had really shitty photos, this Indian guy, and got him really good photos, and he was talking about his how his results on Tinder changed. It was one of the best transformation stories I've ever seen. And like the child was like, yeah, but when girls find out he's Indian, he's fucked. He has to go abroad. He can't. There's nothing. No way he can have in America. He's talking about, dude, I live in America. I've been sleeping with multiple girls. He's like, yeah, but they're probably ugly or they're probably dudes. Like it's just the level of cope is beyond absurd. So yeah, I think that community is just like the most toxic community I've ever encountered, at least.
Yeah, dude. I had old roommate who is like so fucking deep in the black pill, and like I just avoided it, and our lives are very similar. And it was very interesting to see in real time how like my life improved and his life didn't just from his belief systems because he was just so lost in the sauce with this stuff. And I mean, bro, he just like ruined his fucking life by allowing this stuff to influence him.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Back to your original question. I think pickup, that was just an actual organized dismantling of that content on Instagram and YouTube. I think that's the reason why a lot of the pickup stuff became less popular. I think another reason why is because not to talk about the efficacy of pickup in total, but there were just too many scam artists in pickup. Guys, I won't say their names, who were selling multiple boot camps and then not fulfilling their boot camps, or guys who were consistently giving women advice and dating a 3. Like that was the problem with pickup. And the problem is, as things became more pervasive, like you could actually show more Instagram, you could now do high resolution 4K video reels to show, hey, this is what my party looks like. This is what my lifestyle looks like. A lot of the pickup guys, I remember having conversations with pickup guys 12, 13 years ago, making fun of people for being on Instagram, saying you should stay off Snapchat. I was with Matador and Mystery one time when they were making fun of Owen Cook for being on YouTube. And I was like, no, guys, I think you're missing the point here. Is like you can scale how many women you meet by doing this. And I think what happened was because pickup missed the boat on that. I think that's another they didn't invest in the right companies. I think that's the reason why like new technology came out and they started to have some serious problems. So I think those are the reasons why pickup is not quite as popular as it is now. And as far as the red pill thing, I think what made it more popular, again, agreeing with what Alex said, is that it also kind of tied itself to a political movement. And so pickup has no political movement. When I was hanging out with pickup, this is what I talked about with what's her name, Kezia Noble the other day. Pickup back in 03, 04, 05, nobody talked about body count. No one cared about what she was Republican or Democrat or whether she was close to her fucking family. No, back then it was like, did you fuck more? You fucked more, good pickup. You fucked less, bad pickup. That was all that mattered. If you talked to a guy back in 06, that was all his fuck more, good pickup. That was all that mattered. And Kezia was like, yeah, I remember when it was like that. She's like, I like that better. That's the way it should be. It was really funny listening to her. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the difference is that I think because more voices are being heard and you can show more, most guys who were teaching pickup weren't good with women. And I'm just telling you that because I've been on dozens of boot camps with them, and they're just not very good. And so I think that started to get exposed a little bit. And I think that's part of the reason why they kind of started to have some trouble.
I just want to really quickly respond to what Michael said. So this is something I've actually talked about quite a lot on my channel. So I do agree with your premise which is that the vast majority of pickup artists are scammers or have no idea what they're doing, or borderline scammers. I would put it at like 90% plus. So there's no denying that. But this is the point I always made. It's no different than most other industries. Fitness.
Yeah, agreed.
90% of people are fucking taking steroids and pretending like it's their workout. Finance or like business, like, yeah, we'll help you make so much money. How many of those are actually people who have business can make you money? So like literally pretty much every industry I see is exactly like that. There's just some legit people, right, who know what they're talking about, and the others are just wave riders who are trying to make money, who either are incompetent or just full out lying and scamming, right? So I would even venture to say the whole like, I'm going to help you make money industry is potentially worse. Because that can drain a person dry. A pickup boot camp costs you $3,000, $4,000. That one costs your whole life savings. So there's that. And then the second point you were making about, pickup not having a political movement, and that's true, but I think that's a smaller part of the picture. I think the real reason the red pill was able to become so popular, actually there's two reasons, is because it really hit on on people's pain points. There's a lot of guys who are angry or sad or have negative emotions because of a bad experience they had. They had a girl who cheated on them. They had, they were bullied or something along the lines of that. Typically, it's mostly a girl cheated on them or a girl fucked them over, right? They have this pain. And then here's someone who is basically saying, hey, you're not the only one. There's a whole bunch of people who have the same pain as you, right? And it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. The girls are like this, right? So it's like, oh shit. So there's no responsibility on me, essentially. Maybe I just picked the wrong girl, right? It's girls are like this. And it's a very simple, like non-nuanced, I think, solution to pick up that red pill offers. It's like more muscles, more money, work on yourself, and then, screen carefully and avoid marriage. It's like a very, very simple, overly simplistic solution. And I think the other big part of it is that the red pill community doesn't really require what I call like painful action. Going to the gym, sure, yeah, that requires work, right? But the red pill community isn't going to be like, okay, if you want to develop better social skills, you have to go out and talk to a bunch of girls. You're going to get rejected a bunch. That's what's really emotionally painful, and like people just don't want to do that. And if your choice is either that, or the choice is either like, hey, just work on yourself, bro. Just, make more money, bro. Like you're going to go with that second option just because it's the path of least resistance. So that's why I think the red pill community was able to significantly overtake the pickup community.
Yeah, fascinating. I do remember a super old video from Michael, actually. Must have been like, I don't know when it was, maybe the late 2000s. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. You said,
and you may edit this part out of the video or whatever, but even today, I'd say about 85% of guys in pickup who teach pickup are absolute garbage. They're complete crap.
Like 95% of pickup advice is completely fucking garbage.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was the majority, because I actually don't, I don't think, like what Alex said, I think it's about 85% of them are bad. I don't think
something like
think
that.
It's 90. Yeah, somewhere around there. What I said was 95% of the guys weren't good with women. Like that's actually what I saw, because what happened was, what would be very frustrating with me is I would get in these discussions like who's the greatest pickup artist ever, and like I knew them all. I lived in Los Angeles. Like I would go out with these guys, and there's one guy right now who I've heard some people say consensus greatest pickup artist ever, and I watched him barking at women, and he married a fucking 3, and I'm just like, I don't understand how this fucking happened. So that's one of the reasons why like I show so much on my IG, is because I don't want people to put me in that fucking category. I am with beautiful women all the fucking time, every day, and I'm doing something right. You can believe whatever the fuck you want. It's just I watched too many of these guys do this, and I just didn't want to get put into that category. So like that's the situation. But no, I know what you're talking about ice. Yeah. I felt like net pickup hurt men. I think there are some guys who had some really good. I think if you go back net back in like 03 to 07, men were actually getting help. I think once Mike Long got involved and started doing these mass email blasts where they started promising, say these 6 words and have a threesome with these strippers, that type of like headlines on their emails. Once that happened, I think that started to pervert the whole industry, and you started seeing low empathy individuals come into it, start teaching courses when they had no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, no, I was gonna say the whole thing, you know, just in general, with being a pickup artist, you know, it was mainly really just nerds teaching other nerds, you know what I'm saying, how to get women. So the whole like, you know, crux of it already from its inception was something that was not going to yield great results anyway, because those guys, usually out of these pickup artists, didn't have game in the first place. So the fact of making it about just focusing on women and trying to get all the, you know, say this line, or, you know, say this pickup line, or do this or do that, all the tricks and gimmicks, those are the things that were hurting the situation in the long run, because the people who were teaching it, those guys also came from being a nerd and then tried to figure out some scientific way to get women. You feel what I'm saying? Instead of understanding themselves as men, valuing themselves as men, but also learning about game. And then so then what happened is that a lot of the guys from pickup went into red pill. So red pill is actually the answer to pickup, meaning that there's a lot of guys that were like, man, so this is why you know, women weren't dealing with me, because women are hoes and blah, 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 but it's still the wrong answer. You know what I'm saying? It's really their fault as men for not understanding themselves and understanding how to be an attractive guy and understanding how to actually really get women. So they'll say, well, she's, you know, over here because of her hypergamous nature. But it's like, cool, yeah, but understand the reason why she left you was because she was never interested in you in the first place, because you were never that guy in the first place. But they don't see that part. They just see the after effect and want to point fingers, not look at themselves. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, you want to know something? Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, well, I was going to say this. I don't know if you guys seen this. So there's some academicians who are like trying to become very anti-red pill. And I specifically mean like Mac and Murphy and Alex Tate psych. And one of the things Alex went on Chris Williamson recently, and he started talking about the success of the PUA. Have you seen this recently? He's so anti-red pill that they're saying it looks like the pickup artist types are doing better now because they're going out and approaching women. And he doesn't have any data to back this up, but what he's doing is he's saying this because he understands. When you see Chris Williamson or Mac and Murphy or Alex Tate, like they want to be the dating coach that your girlfriend approves of. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be the good-looking, handsome dating coach who gives Disney advice that your girlfriend approves of. And so they'll say stuff like this. But it's really funny. If you ever go back and watch that video, I was like, is he really saying this? Is he saying the pickup needs to come back? That's what he's actually saying. Well, he didn't say cold approach either. He said pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much. I know Chris Williamson a little bit. I had him on my channel a while ago. He's definitely not like some pickup expert, but I don't know if he claims. I don't know. Well, anyway, I don't know him that well. But I would.
I'm not saying Chris is the issue. Like what I'm saying is like Chris. He put out a video the other day saying that men should all just be themselves. And I'm like, Chris, you get paid money to take your shirt off. Telling men that they need to be themselves. Like it's just like that's what I mean about being the dating coach that your girlfriend approves of.
That's like basically a meme. Just be yourself, bro. Just be yourself, bro.
Yeah. It's like Shaquille O'Neal saying, why don't you guys just be taller so you can be in the NBA like me? What's wrong with you? It's like when he says just be yourself, bro. It's
just make every shot, bro. Just be good at basketball.
I actually believe be yourself. I think the problem is with the be yourself advice is that no one is actually being themselves. So if you were being yourself, you would probably get more success, but you're actually not being yourself. So for example, a guy might see a woman across the room and in his mind, he's like, man, I would hit that. I'd have sex with her. But then if he was to go over there, he would never even mention the word sex. So he's not really being himself. So if he was actually being himself, he would go and say something. You see what I mean? But he's not actually doing that. So I think the problem is that guys, when they say be yourself, they're thinking about being the goofy, insecure nerd that they are, and that's where they, I think they mess up on.
I think there's that what Locario is saying about being stifled is correct, but the problem is there's so many dudes, Locario, that are autistic or sociopaths, and those people, when they be themselves, they're fucking horrible people, right? There's some individuals who like being themselves is to be fat, lazy, and sit on the couch, or being themselves is to be a liar. I don't think those people need to be themselves. I think those people need to fucking improve. That's why I severely disagree with that advice that Chris Williamson was giving.
I also think when they say,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I also think when they say like be yourself, a lot of guys, like if you were born and you're like good looking or an athlete or whatever your whole life, when you're yourself, you're rewarded for that. Oh, Jesse, he's a cool guy. But most guys, they can't be themselves because they never got that validation growing up. So as a result, they feel afraid to be themselves versus a guy who's always him. he's like cool to being with himself. You know, he's been validated his whole life. But other guys, you know, he struggles being himself.
If I have no abundance in my life, then being myself is scarcity. And so my behavior around women will be scarcity behavior. That's never good advice. The reason why women say to just be yourself is so they can pick out who the fucking losers are quicker.
Yep.
It's a fucking trap. Be the best version of yourself you can be. Be yourself. Be yourself means I'm not going to the gym 5 days a week. Then don't fucking be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself builds a scalable business. Be yourself. If be yourself means lead men, if be yourself means go to the gym on a regular basis, then it's okay to be yourself, but you build up to that. The person I was at 22 would never have gotten my girlfriend today. Don't tell me to be myself. I needed to improve.
Yeah, I hate oversimplifying advice, but essentially the saying would be the best possible version of yourself. That would be more correct. But yeah, it's a little bit oversimplified. But yeah, I mean, it would be something like that. But then I feel like the problem is that this is what I think the issue is, that people tend to jump to extremes. You see this with politics. Let's take Israel and Palestine. How many people are like somewhere in the middle, like maybe Destiny and like two others? People are either like Palestinians, terrorists, Israel good, or Israel murderers, genocide.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few people who have a nuanced approach and look at the history. Okay, this happened in 2007, this happened in 2005, so there was this, and that. Like, people just go to all these extremes. And it's the same thing with red pill and, you know, blue pill, we'll call it.
Yeah.
The other extreme is just be yourself, you know, just be honest, right? This is one extreme, stupid, doesn't fucking work. But then a lot of like red pills go to the other extreme, which is that, like, just women, they just want money, status, just make as much money and become as famous as possible, which is not even accessible to the majority of people. And like, that's the other extreme. Or that, like, women can't be trusted. Women, are all gonna, go to the higher value guy if he comes along, right? But there's a nuance there, which is that you can improve and you should improve. You also need to develop really good social skills. You also need to screen carefully. But the idea that there's like no good women in the West is absurd. There's obviously, anyone who has a girlfriend will say there's great women in the West. There's probably more women who are, better in the East. But yeah, the idea is like, you have to travel abroad if you want to find someone who's wifey material is really silly. And also, like, if you travel to like fucking a third world country, bring back a wife. Like, that's, I think, a recipe for disaster, if anything, than dating a girl in your own country. So yeah, I mean, just all these extremes.
Be careful, Alex. They're gonna start making meme videos about you, bro. Watch out. Here it comes.
Oh, I don't mind. There's already a million meme videos about you, but the solution is typically nuanced and somewhere in the middle. And also, like, there's no sexy answers to this. There's no, like, it's kind of a nuanced approach where, like, yes, you need to work on yourself, but at the same time, also, you have to be at least somewhat, you can't totally fake it until you make it. You have to be at least somewhat congruent to yourself, but you need to push the boundaries a little bit and push that side of you. So if you're introvert, become a little bit more extrovert, a little bit more extroverted. All right, that's not a sexy answer. Like, people want just like these kind of.
I also feel like that's what the algorithm rewards. So, like, you're right. I think Destiny has a pretty moderate view on the Israel-Palestine thing, and he gets destroyed. Like, they attack him so horribly on Twitter, dude. They death threats, crazy shit, and he's not saying anything crazy. And I talked to him about it. I was like, dude, I want to get in this debate, but like, there's no reward for this. All you get when you have a moderate viewpoint, the algorithm, all it does is punish you from both sides. It's one of the problems with like evolutionary psychology. Evolutionary psychology, the right doesn't like it because they don't believe in evolution, and the left doesn't like it because it defines gender roles. So you get attacked from both sides. From having like a moderate viewpoint that is based in reality, you get attacked from both sides. I agree with you, Alex. I'm just saying the algorithm, it rewards extremism.
Yeah. Well, it's like that documentary, The Social Dilemma, why, more and more extreme content gets pushed. And then the problem is also, I know I'm kind of going on tangent, but that influences people's opinions. Like, there's all these studies that show that people now are politically more divided than ever. Like, in terms of I forget what the exact study was, but the risk of like a civil war, it's higher now than it's been in like a very long time. So people are more and more divided. People are more and more polarized than ever. Like political discussions 20 years ago were quite different than they are now. So
they were nuanced back then. You could have a nuanced discussion.
Yeah, they were nuanced, and there wasn't really yelling. Like, if you look at presidential debates from like even like Kennedy versus Nixon, it's super polite, super respectful, super like, this gentleman has a slightly different opinion than me on what we should do about this. Now it's like he's a criminal, lock him up. Like, it's devolved in a lot of ways. And I think the algorithms really make things worse by pushing the most extreme content. And it fucking sucks.
It's because debates and the news used to be a way to get information, and now they are entertainment. And because they are entertainment, Homath said it the best, bro. He was like, you get into social media so that you can be relevant to women, but it brings you at the low. Like, I want to build my business, I have to be on social media, right? If a lot of women, if I want to attract a huge group of women to come to my events, I have to be on social media. But when you're on social media, it brings you to the lowest form of thinking. I want to watch bum fights, and I want to watch animals jump off of shit. I'm at the low cut, like 304 gets destroyed. Feminist modern woman gets destroyed by red pill. Like, that's what when I get on social media, it brings me down to a lower form of thinking. Yet social media is the thing that makes me more relevant than anything.
Yeah, so it's a catch-22. Yeah, you can have two videos, like both the exact same video. One is super deep intellectual discussion with a feminist. Another one, dumb feminist gets wrecked by base red pillar.
Yeah, guys,
the views are not going to be, even if the same video, the views are not going to be close.
Alex, if you want to see something funny, go on my channel and you'll see I'll do stuff like that. Then there's a channel called MOA.podcast, or one of my affiliates, and they're crushing. These guys are making like 6 figures a year as one of my affiliates. And all of their, and I told him I'm not going to tell him to change his stuff, but all of his thumbnails are just basically dumb woman gets destroyed. And he's growing 3 times. His YouTube channel, same exact videos. His YouTube channel is growing 3 times faster than mine. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, because most
look at MOA.podcast. Look at the fucking thumbnail. It's crazy the stuff this guy runs.
Because should have called it Evil Sartain.
Seriously.
Most people, unfortunately, most people are losers. So what happens is that they're going to gravitate to the negative stuff and to the things that make them feel comfortable, because a guy who has a trouble getting women, he wants to see dumb 304 gets wrecked or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? That makes him feel good about being a loser. So now it's like, well, at least I know I'm a loser, but at least I see that these women out here are horrible. So it makes him feel better about his own situation. It's terrible.
Although, if I'm being honest, I definitely don't consider myself an idiot, but I don't really watch much red pill content. But if I see on my algorithm like bimbo gets wrecked, I'm like, let me see what this is about. Like, I click on this shit.
Guilty, bro. Guilty. I watch that shit, and I hate the fact that I do it. But
I hate the fact that I watch it too. I'm like, they clickbaited me. It's a fucking stupidity. I've seen this 100 times, but then I'm like, next one, ooh, let's see, this one's different. Like,
unplug yourself from the matrix. Okay, let's move on to the next one. How important is money in attracting women? A woman doesn't know what you have in your bank account. So is it really about money, or is it about something else?
No.
I think money allows you to facilitate like fun experiences, but you can also use like social networking to get those same experiences. So I've done this with yacht parties, right? Dude, if I post I'm doing a yacht party, bro, fucking every girl is messaging me. They want to come, right? But, on a service level, it's like, okay, this is like a money thing, right? This is why this guy's getting all these girls, but I don't want a yacht, right? I have friends who have boats, and the girls just want to have fun. They just want to have fun emotions, fun experiences, right? And so I don't think it's necessarily money, but I do think it's your ability to access certain assets that will allow the girls to have fun experiences.
Yeah, it's creating. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is where one of the big points I strongly differ with the red pill on. So I think that we're going to say this is going to be with the exception of gold diggers, because gold diggers are going to be an exception to everything I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And gold diggers, even in a city like Miami, are like 5% or less. You may look at Fresh and Fit, right? And you can be like, oh my God, like half these girls seem like gold diggers, right? But people don't account for sample biases. I live right down the street from them. I do street interviews every day. I talk to women all the time. And if a girl's willing to go on a Fresh and Fit podcast, she's probably not going to be a doctor or something like that. There's a sample bias there, right? So if you actually go out and like hang out in Miami, you'll see it's 5% maybe or less of women are actually like hardened gold diggers, right? So with those women aside, I think that money is a threshold thing. So there is definitely a sizable advantage from being broke to being like middle class, where you have a place, where you have a car, where you can take care of yourself. I think from there, yes, money does help, but then you start getting extreme diminishing returns. Going from upper middle class, going from top 5% to being top 1% won't actually substantially affect your dating life in any way. Going from making $100,000 a year to making $500,000 a year, again, unless you're going for gold diggers, won't really substantially affect your dating life in any way. And I have clients who are really rich. I have clients who are multimillionaires, and they've been with like 1 or 2 girls, and they're not bad looking guys either. So I think that I feel like that the money thing becomes overplayed. And I think also the problem is when you start, this is my biggest beef probably with the red pill. It was when you start leveraging money indirectly or even directly to attract women, and then you're surprised about the kind of women you're attracting, how they treat you down the line, which is like I see it's become more and more part of value proposition. Like during my debate with Donovan, this was I guess a funny moment, but essentially, I was telling him, I was like, yeah, listen, part of your relationship formula is resources. Like that essentially means money. He's like, yeah, well, I'm sure. He's like, I'm sure. What's it like with your girlfriend? I'm like, well, no, I don't give her any money. He's like, well, why is she with you then? Because we have a really good time together, because she loves me, because we have a lot of experience together. He's like, well, you must have like a 14-inch penis then. That's his only conclusion.
Oh my God.
Like, you must have a humongous schlong. I was like, well, no, I don't have a 14-inch cock. But that's how like the red pill mind works, is that you need the money to kind of be part of the attraction formula. And then when you do that, when you use money as part of the formula, part of the package, or part of the deal that that your girl is getting, that's a recipe for disaster, because there's always going to be a guy who makes more money than you, and then that you don't really have solid attraction and solid I guess just a solid relationship in general. And that's what I see with the red pillars all the time. It's just like they won't say it directly. They won't say, hey, give a girl money, but there's all these hints at it. Like, and sometimes more than hints, it's like, hey, like you should use your resources. I mean, even like Myron will say directly, like, yeah, what do men bring relationship? Resources and protection. Well, in Miami, in the high-rise building, protection means jack shit. We all have like fucking security guards and shit, so it doesn't mean anything. And then resources, what does resources mean essentially? Right, so yeah, it's kind of like I would say probably my biggest criticism of the red pill.
Going back to what you said before, so there's the right way and there's the wrong way. The right way is like what Justin talked about with the yacht. It's not his yacht. It's so the term we should use is access to scarce resources. And you use those scarce resources in order to create a funnel, and that funnel creates ratio. So if you use money correctly, what you're doing is you're having a mansion party or a yacht party or something like that, or you're like, I have a friend of mine, it's really smart, his name's Michael Evers. This dude, he rents a villa out in Tulum. The girls have to pay their own ticket, but he's got 10 bedrooms. And there's like, you have to pay for your way to come out here. So he's not paying for the girls to come out, but when they come out, they have a place to stay. And so he's in a villa in Tulum, and it's 12 girls and one guy. If you use money to create, I mean, the best example is Bilzerian. Yeah, Bilzerian with his Ignite parties, where it was, I was there, and there's 2,500 girls, and there was like 400 dudes there. It was crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And like one time he fucked 9 girls in the bathroom and was like live streaming it to the rest of us while he was in the fucking room, and we're out there with Cardi B at the park. Like that shit was crazy. The way you do it wrong, though, is like what you say. It's the direct transactional nature where you're compensating women for their affection. Then it's like taking steroids. When you start taking steroids, the only way to continue to look at it like that is to keep taking steroids. There's no way to wean yourself off of it. It's the same thing. When you lead with money, you always have to lead with money. There's no way out of it. So instead, what you do is, there's one guy named Vegas Dave who lives here in Vegas, and he would go buy a table at some place, and he would have like an expensive car, expensive bags, and he'd end up fucking all these girls. And I knew some of them, and I'd ask him like, dude, did Dave pay you? Like, why are you fucking this guy? And they would always tell me, it's like, no, I was just around it. Like just being around the money and not even getting any of the money, the girls like wanted to have sex with him, and it was fucking mind blowing to me. I couldn't understand, but as money is a correlation, money is an allegory for competency in the ancestral environment. So evolutionarily, women look at men who look like that or have those resources and say, this man is a competent man, therefore she has an attraction paying short term. Long term, however, what does it say in the Bible? It is better to be, it's worse to be a non-believer, or it's better to be a non-believer than to be a man who doesn't provide for his family. So I think long-term, what the red pill is confusing is they're saying long-term as a man, if you want to lead in a relationship, you should be able to provide for your family. That's the example that they're giving. And for the most part, I do agree with that, but that shouldn't be the reason she's with you. What it should be is she's with you for genuine desire. Then you have kids, and then once you have kids, you want them to go to college, and you want to have a comfortable room, comfortable place for your family to live. In that case, you do need to provide.
So
yeah, no, I think that's a very important nuance that you gave. I agree with everything you said, and I don't think like when I say like you're married with a woman, you have a child. I don't think there's anything simpy at all about like making money while she stays at home raising the kid. Like I'm not talking about anything remotely related to like having a family or anything like that. But just one I think important thing to say: the people who are using money like the way you say, the correct way, I would say are a very small percentage of the population of the men who are using money. And I think what separates the guys you're talking about versus the guys I was talking about is social skills, generally speaking. All the guys you're talking about have at least above average level of social skills. They're not, but a lot of rich guys don't have good social skills. In fact, sometimes rich people have worse social skills than poor people, right? Because they're just in their own like little world, they're working nonstop. So I think that's a humongous factor. But I do agree with you that if you have good social skills, that is a really good way to use money. That's not going to actually put like long-term disadvantage.
See, the thing is with every girl who's having sex with a guy because of his money also is having sex with another guy for free. So basically, and I talk about this in my book. I have the book called Looks Don't Matter. I talk about the 5 types of attraction a woman will have for a man. So it's physical, sexual, behavioral, resource attraction, and friendship attraction. So what happens is sexual attraction is the strongest form of attraction. So whenever you need money in any form or fashion to get access to sex, then what that means is that you're compensating for some level of sex appeal that you don't have. So meaning that if you're using money or you need money to get sex from women, that means they're having sex with you because you're not that sexually attractive to them for them to do it without the money. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I tell guys like for example, there were women that that I used to hook up with, where they would be, getting together with guys who have a lot of money, millionaires and all this other stuff, but I wouldn't pay a dime, but I'm still hitting it. And they would take the money they're getting from these guys and buy me stuff, take me out, do all this other stuff. So what happens is that when it comes to, attraction, sexual attraction is always gonna beat out resource attraction. A resource attraction is when a woman is mainly attracted to you for your resources. So she's like, well, this guy's giving me stuff, so I'll have sex with him because of this. But if he didn't have the money, I wouldn't be here. You see what I'm saying? Versus the other guy who doesn't need to have anything but himself, and then she's there regardless because she's sexually attracted to him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm loving this conversation. Unfortunately, I have to go because I have something in 10 minutes, but this has been a really fun discussion. I wish I could stay longer, honestly, because I'm loving this. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for having me on, Ice. Definitely be happy to come on in the future.
Thanks for coming. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Good chatting with all you guys.
Hey, man.
See you, Alex.
Good to see you, Alex.
Hey, be safe, bro.
Something Locario said that is absolutely true is that they are always sleeping with some other guy for free. That is absolutely true, bro. Look, I live in Vegas, next to Miami, probably the most transactional city for it. And every one of these girls, when I talk to them, there's always the guy who's paying them, the sugar daddy, and then there's some bartender they're fucking for free. I actually have the saying, when women are surrounded by beta, they crave alpha. And so when you're paying for that, it like actually generates something in her body that needs alpha dick in her life because because the beta has been thrown at her through the way of money. So I agree with Locario. They always have a dude that they're sleeping with for free.
Interesting. I really like that you have a book about that called Why Looks Don't Matter.
Yeah, so I have a book called Looks Don't Matter, 7 Ways to Attract Women Without Your Looks. So basically the book is just talking about how to be attractive outside of your looks. So a lot of guys rely I got to be the best looking, I got to looks max, all this other nonsense. So I say, yeah, looks matter in the sense of a woman will be attracted to you physically, or also she might be attracted to you sexually because of your looks. But there are other ways to be attractive outside of your looks. Because what happens is sometimes a woman might be attracted to you because of your look, but then because of your behavior, because of your mindset, because of your lack of confidence, that's going to make her not attracted to you at the end of the day. So therefore you're thinking, man, I got this girl checking me out. You go up and approach her. And now because you can't talk, you don't know what to say, you don't have any, social skills, that's going to make her be turned off to the situation that makes her not want to deal with you anyway. So I tell guys to be more well-rounded when it comes to being attractive overall. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's like the way I have seen it is like, I don't understand why guys are like, all I need is a 6-pack, and then they'll just fucking throw themselves at me. It's like, now what do I do here with my 6-pack? It just like act as a magnet. Is that the fucking plan?
It's terrible.
Some fucking crazy shit. Alrighty. Any other perspectives on this?
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is most guys, they're watching dudes on Instagram with like Aiden Ross, Logan Paul. They got all these fucking OnlyFans girls, right? And they're millionaires. 99% of millionaires aren't those guys. They're entrepreneurs who are working 12-hour days, 7 days a fucking week. Like they're not going out. They're not socializing. We have a lot of clients who are loaded, but they still need help with ladies. Yeah.
So you guys remember T.I. saying you can have whatever you like, and Lil Wayne saying it ain't simping if you, it ain't tricking if you got it. No, bitch, it's still tricking. It's still tricking. Even if you got, but the problem is they live in this world. Like imagine being like Drake and having all these women like literally cheat on their boyfriends because because of your higher status, or these other guys, these other rappers who literally have women sleep with them because of the money that they make. It would start to pervert your beliefs to think that that was really the only way. And any guy who isn't as famous as Jason Derulo or whatever has no chance with women. And it's funny because I feel like some of those guys at the top, they're probably as black pill as anyone. They believe that all looks and money and status matters, and it because all the status and looks and money that they get, or all the attention they get from women, they start to probably believe that as much as anybody. But you're right, the majority of men don't live in that place. Most of us, you're good-looking guys, but none of us are really good-looking enough to where the majority of women are going to fight to come have sex with us because of our physical attractiveness, right? I live here in Vegas. There's some male strippers, down under guys. No. Oh, okay, sorry, Locario. That's right. You were a male model. I forgot about that. But one of the things that'll happen is, I'm in pretty good shape for 46. I'll go to a fucking pool here, and I'll have the guys from Thunder from Down Under or Magic Mike will come by, and these are like 6'3" Australian guys with like sleeve tattoos and 6-pack abs. I'll be having a conversation, and it's like very clear for them, they could just be themselves. And they would not, all the stuff, the advice that I'd give for other guys, I'd be like, you guys need to just shut the fuck up and stand there in the corner. You'll do just fine. But for the rest of us, most women find most men unattractive. 80% of men on dating apps are deemed to be below average attractiveness. And one of my favorite studies, it was I forgot, it wasn't Jen Gottlieb, it was a woman named Gottlieb. But she wrote a book, and in the book, she asked a group of men, she said, if you got 80% of what you wanted in your partner, would you be satisfied? And the men overwhelmingly said, yes, 80%, that sounds incredible. They asked a group of women, they said, if you got 80% of what you wanted in your partner, would you be satisfied? And the women overwhelmingly said, no, that would be settling. That's the difference between the two genders. It's like, if we get 80% of what we want, we're very happy. If women don't get 80% of what they want, they're not happy at all.
Yeah, and I think what happens is with that is because women generally have the misleading idea that they can get a dude who's a top-notch, on-point guy because most guys want to have sex with them. So women, so for example, women can get, let's use extreme example like Drake or any of these celebrities. A woman can get Drake and Chris Brown to sleep with her. So she thinks if I can get Chris Brown and Drake to sleep with me, I could get someone at Chris Brown or Drake's level or any of those type of to commit. So that's why they're like 80%. I'm not messing with 80%. I need 100%. So they think they can get, and the thing is, some women can if they know what they're doing, but most women they can't do it. And for guys, because most guys don't have the skill to attract multiple women or to attract women in general, they're like, yes, I'll take the 80% because it's scarce for me anyway. So it's like, I'm willing to take the 80% because that's good enough for me. So I think it's just depends on men and women generally have different, realities, and that causes them, be like that in a long time.
I don't know, bro. I feel like once I get post-nut clarity, I'm like, all right, I want 100%. I don't want 80%. I want 100%.
That's funny. That's funny. I don't want to settle anymore. One way I like to say it, Locario, is because she fucked a 10, she thinks she can get commitment from a 9. And in reality, she can't even get commitment from a 5. Right. One of the guys, I don't know if you guys have seen the video this guy did where he works on dating apps, and he said the algorithm is very bad because what happens is what it does to a woman's psychology when she left swipes on 600, it's the ratio, from what I understand, it's about 16,000 swipes for 10 dates. That's about the ratio so women are not on there looking for dates. They're looking on there for validation. But when she left swipes on 600 guys, in her mind, subconsciously, she believes she's better than those guys. and she believes she could get commitment for some, if not all of those guys, when in reality, this dating platform was for short-term sexual access, and she's confused that and actually thinks that that's what her value is. There were 600 guys that she left swipe, most of which would use her for short-term sexual access and would not want a long-term relationship. And because she doesn't have that proper information, she starts to have these beliefs where, because she was in a threesome with some movie star, she legitimately believes, because I fucked a 10, I can get a 9 to commit.
That's real talk.
No, dude, I was
Can't
at
even
the
commit
club
to
last
taking her home,
weekend.
man.
For real. I was at the club last weekend. I met this girl. She kept insisting on telling me that she was dating Mark Cuban. Okay. I'm like, I just thought it was strange. I thought it was really strange, but she was feeling me. Everything was going well. And like, she was the shallowest fucking person I've ever met in my fucking life. Everything. She's like, your friends are whack. You need to have this watch. You need to be this guy. I'm like, okay, whatever. Turns out I just go home later.
If I was there, I would be like, Mark Cuban. So the guy who fucked up that whole thing, letting Tyson Chandler go after the 2011, I would just grill her, bro. That say Mark Cuban? That Mark Cuban who
because
passed up on Giannis
I go
Antetokounmpo?
home. Yeah, I didn't realize. I was like, let me look up Mark Cuban. He's been married for 20 fucking years. This girl was probably a side bitch. Was probably his side bitch for like a week, and she's like, "This is who you have to be." It's like, shut the fuck up. It's wild.
Brandon. She wasn't even a side bitch. He just hit on her one time.
Yeah.
That's all that happened.
Yeah,
and she thinks she's dating him.
Literally, it was wild. She was deluded, dude. It was crazy.
Yes.
Holy fuck!
All
right,
yeah,
next,
I think.
Any final comments?
No,
Alrighty, next, to what extent do you include your girlfriends or your partner in your personal finances? Your
Dude,
lunch.
not at all. Not at all. That's yeah, I think it's different if you're married or if you're like in a traditional like monogamous marriage. But no, like your girlfriend should not even be involved in your finances at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is, yeah, if it's your wife, you know, I think then that's a different story. If it's a long-term girlfriend, I think you should, like, you can go out, take her out, yeah, do some things like that. But in general, you know, I think if it's just a woman you're dating, hooking up with, a girl that you see from time to time, it should definitely never be. She shouldn't know anything about your money at all. You understand? You know what I mean? Even though those type of women don't need to know too much information about you anyway, because their position in your life isn't that important for them to even have that type of information from you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Let me just. That's something you have to earn. Oh, go ahead.
Let me just sidetrack this. Ross has joined, the man himself.
What's up?
Calling from San Diego. So welcome. And
greetings, whippersnappers. I just woke up from my old man nap, you whippersnappers. Show some respect for your elders.
Nice. And it's a nice opportunity. So to have Ross and Michael here. So that's wonderful because let me scroll up here and see what I was supposed to say. Michael, can we try getting Ross Jeffries and Rollo Tomassi in the same room? That would be crazy.
Well, you know, if he comes to Vegas, wants to come on Access Vegas, I don't think Rollo would probably be super down for that.
You don't think?
Ross, you want to come on the show? It's be you, me, Rollo, and 10 girls.
All right.
And you want to fly me out to Vegas?
No, I don't think we can. We're poor little YouTubers. We make YouTube AdSense money. We can afford that.
My nephew is a magician in Las Vegas, and
Wait, who's your nephew?
His name is Seth Grable. He's a magician.
Vaguely heard that name. I think. Does he do like in person magic, like at the nightclubs and stuff like that?
He does. He used to have his own theater, like 700 people, and he's been on.
I think I do know.
He made them all disappear.
Yeah,
he's bald, and he did a trick where this giant robot supposedly crushed the police car he was in, but he wasn't in there. Yeah, I'll come. Sure, that'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely. And if I told Rollo, it's not an issue whatsoever. By the way, any of you guys, if you came into town and you wanted to come on Access Vegas, just let me know ahead of time, and we'll have come on. Okay. What's this? The guy from No Fugazi. I forget his name right now. He's coming on in February.
From who? From whom? From where?
It's a podcast called No Fugazi.
No fugazi. What the
Yeah, it
fuck?
means something different in your time. It means something different in your time, Ross. But yes, that's the name
What
of
is
it.
that? Japanese? Sounds like
No,
Japanese.
Fugazi. Fugazi, I think, is
Yeah.
Italian, isn't it?
No, that means
Italian,
like
yeah.
no fakeness. That's what that means.
No fakeness. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Sounds fun. Ice, send me the info. I'll do it.
Yeah, fascinating. We were so close to making that happen in October when I was in Vegas, but
Sure. But live would be fun.
that would have been crazy. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to say the thing about, so I'll be honest with you. It's not my expertise to use money to get girls. I don't know how to do it. So I've always been able to do it without using money. And that's what I teach my clients. A lot of times it's other people's money, like what Justin was saying, somebody else's yacht. Definitely we've done that before. Bilzerian is actually going to come out with a program. And one of the things he's talking about doing is actually talking about using money to create a funnel and not spending money on women specifically. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing in his Sigma Society course.
Fascinating. Do you know what the timeline is for that to be released?
I don't. You'd have to talk to Lynn or Dan about that, but I'm trying to help them any way I can.
All right, nice. Yeah, let's get back to this question and jump on to another one.
I only spend money on this, but this is the only pussy I spend money on.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I got 4 of them, Ross. I'm right there with you.
Hey, if I come out, can I see your cats?
Yeah, for sure. You can come meet the cats for sure.
For sure, I'm there. It's a done deal.
Yep.
You should have seen it. His cat sniffed the camera earlier, so that was the highlights of my day, can I say? Anyway, let's get back to this question. To what extent do you involve your long-term partners in your personal finances?
Well, what I was saying before is they have to earn that right. Like my girlfriend is part of my business as well, and she helps me with a lot of business aspects, and she also, you know, not like a personal assistant, but she definitely helps me with a lot of different things. So in that aspect, it's something where we've been together for 15 months. She lives with me and, you know, she's part of my life. But if this was a short-term thing or a thing under a few months, then you're right. This would not be an issue. This would not be something I would be doing.
Alrighty. Any other comments on this, or shall we move on?
Yeah, I don't think women should know how much money you make in general. Like, I think it's just a liability, especially with shorter term dating partners. Even if you're in a relationship with a girl for even a few months, like, I think it opens up potential liability for her knowing how much money you make.
The only people who know my money situation, I'm not kidding, are my tax lawyer and my accountant and my bookkeeper, and that's it. No one ever knows. I never tell anybody.
Just go back and listen to the 10 Crack Commandments by Biggie Smalls. That'll tell you all you need to know.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So, an old article titled "The Good Wife's Guide" has been circulating recently. It is said to have been published in 1955 and even has its own Wikipedia page. But because there's a lack of evidence of this article's true origin, we don't actually know if it's really from the 1950s. But this thing has been around on the internet for a number of years anyway. Regardless of its authenticity, it is pretty interesting. So what can we take out of this? Yeah, there we go.
Have you guys seen this? It's
Nah,
basically like,
what are they saying in this?
Do you have a list of the things that they listed in this? I saw this. I mean, I imagine it's pretty traditional stuff. Like when the man comes home, the house should be clean, and you know he should have no stress, and you should leave him alone. I remember certain things. Have dinner. Here we go. Have dinner ready. Most men are hungry when they come out of it. Was number 3 here.
Should I yourself take over the screen share because I got another page on it that has like
for sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, a little gay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw that.
I think they mean happy. and
here it is.
That word meant something different in 1955.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it says up here 1955. We don't know if it's actually real, but let's just take a look at it. Have dinner ready. That makes sense. Prepare yourself. Take 15 minutes to rest. I first said test. So you'll be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup. Put a ribbon on your hair and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people like Michael Sartain and Ross Jeffries. Be a little gay. And a little more interesting. His boring day made him
women who are gay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
just a little though, Mike.
Just a little. Who cares about that? Prepare the children. Be happy to see him. Like that's some good advice. Greet him with a warm smile. Listen to him. I think that's good advice. Make the evening his. And one that I really liked here is don't greet him with complaints or problems.
It should be on the Bill of Rights, bro.
But yeah, have you guys seen this also? I know, Michael, you
This is my first
Yeah,
time
I've
seeing
seen
it.
it.
Nah, I've never seen this. This is hilarious. But I look at it. It's I feel like a
Hey guys,
man-
look what the last one is. Read the last one. The
Right.
very last one.
A good wife always knows her place.
but it's the thing. I look at it like, you know, a man needs to understand whatever his program is and his structure of how he wants his situation, and that's what he should vet a woman for, to see if she's capable to be in that position of as wife. Because what I require of a wife, you know, Michael might not require, or, you know, Ross might have a different thing that he wants. You see what I'm saying? So each man has to figure out what he wants and create that situation, whatever woman he's with. But so these are, like, I guess, basic stuff that a lot of guys would probably agree on. But I feel like at the end of the day, you got to have your own thoughts and ways you want to do things.
So
What do you
according to
think,
previous
Ross?
conversation, we would be cool with 80% of these, right? We don't need the whole thing.
Dude, real talk. Look at these things. Look at these things they're saying right here. You guys would be cool with 50% of these. Are you serious? Bro,
I'd be good. I'd be good with one,
bro.
dude.
If your girl listens to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, she ain't doing none of these things. Are you kidding
The
me?
most important one right here. As long as she knows her place, then that's all good.
That's crazy, bro. The 80%, bro. This is like they're being shamed for doing 20% of these.
It's like she has to what is it here? Take off his shoes. It's like, oh, okay, that's a bit strange.
I think
What is
I
he,
don't need that.
Cinderella?
I don't need her to do that. That's crazy. Yeah. But
I don't know
sure.
about the individual, tick the boxes, but one thing I think this is saying is bring him peace. And that's what I'm down with. At my age, at 65, I'm not that interested in passion anymore. I'm interested in peace, a woman who brings me peace. That's the first, foremost, fundamental thing. Keep chaos out of the equation. I'll take someone who looks like a 7.5 and who's relatively emotionally well-regulated, understands reciprocity, understands consistency, and keeps my trust and respect than anything else. And, when you're young, dumb, and full of jism, it's a different story. As a man matures, I think he's looking for peace. And if you look across the board of any coach who knows any male who knows his stuff, that's what he's looking for: peace, order, not order someone around, but peace, respect, contribution to his mission, getting on the team, that sort of thing. Don't you dare smack me in the face, kitten.
Know your place, pussy. But yeah, I completely agree with you. That's interesting because I heard Michael say the same thing before. Bring me peace. So that has stuck with me particularly. So that's a great lesson right there. Alrighty. Any other comments on this?
Yeah, I don't think that guide is applicable for like half women, like 80% of women in society these days. Like if a woman's career oriented, if she if your girl's trying to fucking be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have that like feminist mindset, and they're just not gonna want to comply with any of that stuff, right? Like my girlfriend actually ticks off most of those things, right? But it's like to screen a girl for that, or to like find a girl like that, it's just like you're gonna have to go through so many fucking women to find the girl that's perfectly compatible for you, that ticks off the boxes. So like, I mean, that guide it's great, but it's not even relevant to the average woman in society. I think almost it's a guide for men, what men would desire, but most women aren't gonna follow anything remotely close to that.
She may check some of the boxes, but does she take off your shoes?
Yeah,
Well,
dude, my girlfriend will fucking do anything I want.
Right. And see, that's the point. If a girl is really into you and she has high interest in you and she sees you as that guy, she'll do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? So you'd be surprised the amount of things women will do if they really want that guy. Because women usually what'll happen is they'll bend to the whim of the man. But unfortunately nowadays a lot of men are bending to the whim of the woman. You know what I'm saying? And this is why you have so many losers in relationships where the woman is running the show because the man has already bent to the whim of the woman. And see, the thing is that a woman is supposed to be agreeable. That's more feminine. Masculinity is more disagreeable. It's more about you stand on what you believe in and what you want, and then the woman's supposed to acquiesce to that thing. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Alrighty, let's hit on to the next one. 43% of Game Global members tend to get laid on the first date. 30% second date, 16% third date, 2% fourth date, 9% beyond the fourth date. How can other guys get laid on the first date?
I like that question. So basically, what I say to guys, but this is how I do my thing. I teach guys. I basically say, you should be having sex at least by the second meeting. If it's not happening by the second meeting, you just need to throw the whole situation away. But the way to have sex on the first date is really, you have to basically, and this is how I do it, is that I let the intentions be known. So the women who are sexually attracted to me are already willing and wanting to do it. So when I meet women on Tinder, if I match with a girl on Tinder, what I say to her is, I say, hey, let's meet up for a drink. And if the vibe is cool, then I'm going to take you back to my place and I'll get you naked. You see what I'm saying? And so I wanted to confirm to that whole statement. So once she's confirmed to that whole statement and she's coming out, then it's like, okay, let's get together and do this. And then we go back to my place. But the reason why I say we might do it if the vibe is cool, because I might meet her and then she might be a little weird and I might want to not do it. You know what I'm saying? But I leave it out there to let her confirm or to consent to it. And then we meet up and then we make it happen. But again, it's not going to be a thing where it's going to, like, every woman's going to be down with it, but you just got to find the women who are actually down with being sexual with you on that date. And also another thing that I do too, this is for any of you guys who do online dating, on my profile, I literally say that I'm looking to have sex. So, but what I do is I make it a little colorful. So I say, looking for a woman to give consistent orgasms on
and coitus.
Yeah. What is it? No, let me read exactly what it says, because I wrote this shit on my Tinder. I'll just show you right now. So on my Tinder profile, if you go to my profile, it says, I'll read it to you guys.
Something up with your screen.
So it says,
it said there's a message
it's hitting
from
up
your
his camera.
computer. It
Yeah, no, it's overheating. It's fine.
Hold on, my computer.
Just give it a second.
Let me go to my other joint to get my computer. But yeah, but you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
You want to screen share? Maybe you could screen share it.
Right. So basically what I say is, I live a non-monogamous lifestyle, and I say looking for a woman to exchange orgasms with on a consistent basis. So sometimes I have women who inbox me first and say, so what's up with these orgasms? And then I just say, okay, come meet me and we'll do it. And that's kind of like how I'll get it done. You know
he is swinging for the fences every single time, coming out there, taking a chop, trying to 700-foot home run every single time. I would say, look, what Locario's saying is definitely a strategy that I think would work. I don't even believe on going on dates. I only go on dates with women I'm dating. I believe in like large activities where the ratio is massively in your favor. And in those activities, you do things to display masculine, attractive qualities. And then it just, like, at the end of the night, one girl's like, oh, I like you. It's like, okay, well, let's go to this next thing. And then they just follow you. Compliance loop. That's the way I would say do it. You can always show masculine qualities. And then sometimes what'll happen though in those situations is a girl in the beginning might be like, I'm not sure about you, but because you were able to display those qualities, then later on she's like, yeah, this is the guy I like. But also right, like third date, fourth date, it's like the likelihood of that working out is pretty low. I only save dates for girls that I'm dating.
Interesting. All right, who's next?
I've been saying for over 30 years, dating is for women you're already sleeping with. That's a way to shock my students into really paying attention that the point isn't a date or not a date. The point is, don't try to buy your way into a woman's pants, number one. And traditional forms of, taking a woman on a date and relying on third-party entertainment are not going to do it. I just teach my students to use language patterns. I know everyone else on the panel thinks it's crazy, but using language patterns, you can tap into those fantasy mechanisms. You can get a woman hot and bothered within an hour just talking to her. Now, that doesn't preclude being a masculine man, doesn't preclude being a better man, doesn't preclude taking care of other areas of your life. And just for me and for people who study my material, and I'm the first one to admit it's not the easiest thing to grasp. It takes training, like speaking a new language. But once you get it down, you can do some pretty remarkable shit. All of that said, absolutely, if you can pull it off, like our friend Mr.
Locario
got that kind of personality,
Straight to the point.
and straight to the point, you can pull it off, do it. The final thing I'll say is at my age, at 65, I have to take my time. Because just some things about the equipment and my age, I have
Got to
to
get that blue chew going like a couple hours before.
No, even the blue chew. The blue chew will work, but I have to raw dog it because it's impossible, at least for me at my age, to stay hard in a condom. So I have to raw dog it. Means I'm just saying, hey, Ross lets it all hang out. So here's the thing, dudes. Listen to grandpa, listen to the elder of the tribe. You can laugh, but listen to the elder of the tribe, because we mock the thing we will one day become. I stole that from Mel Brooks. I insist, because of that my partner get tested and I get tested.
Sure.
That we show each other the tests and that. And even then, I have a set of tools I've learned from one of my friends who I don't think he would want his name associated with his podcast. But I have some tools to read when people are suppressing emotion and being deceptive. I've been trained a little bit in deception detection. And if I sense that woman is emotionally unstable, they're all emotionally unstable, but really she's sitting on something, then I'm not going to get her clothes off. And finally, I'll say, once the dick goes in, the crazy really comes out. So just fucking be careful, because they're all nuts to some extent, but the dick goes in. And
trade a nut for a nut.
Yeah, if the dick goes in and you know what you're doing, then right, it just trust me, you're all full of cum and young and just unfold. So do your thing.
It reminds me of the first episode we did with you on a panel. We had you and Bad Boy, and you were talking about sexual trauma can be transferred, and I was like, wait, there's like sexually transmitted trauma exists, and then Bad Boy said there's no condom for that. It's like
That's
I just
true.
fucking lost it.
That's true. He was funny. I like Bad Boy.
Fucking crazy. Anyway, any other perspectives on this?
Yeah, I think what we
back
tell our
to
guys.
sorry, you had.
Yeah, what we tell our guys is, I personally like to tell them, like, first of all, like call them and screen out the date beforehand, right? Because that's going to build comfort for her. She's going to feel cool. She's going to feel good. So make sure you pre-screen it. And while you're on the phone, we give them some questions to ask, right? So they could screen how DTF they are. And then from there, depending on the vibe or her answers, my fucking camera, depending on her vibe and her answers, at that point, then you could go ahead and just pull an audible and change the date straight to your place. Or you double stack a date. If it's iffy, you schedule another date right after her. So you have a date at 8 and then a date at 9, right? If the 8 doesn't work, you still have the 9 that you already screened out. So it often works. And sometimes even the one that's at 8 p.m., if she's like a little bi, just, hey, well, let's go meet a friend. And then you could all three kind of merge together. But that's how I like to run my dates. That's how I tell my guys to run their dates, because that's the most efficient way to run them. So.
Holy shit, Jesse, are you in heaven or something? You started looking.
Dude, I'm in a fucking bunker, bro. I'm in a fucking fallout bunker out here.
It's like, holy shit, Jesus has joined the Zoom call. That's a bit crazy.
Yeah, I like everything Jesse said. I don't really do dates that often. I kind of follow the idea of like dates are a bit of a waste of time. I think you should take your girlfriend on dates every now and then, but I don't think it's an efficient use of time, right? Imagine you spend a full day preparing your schedule around a date, the girl fucking flakes on you, right? So if you're in a dating mode, I like the idea of like triple stacking dates. So I'll like tell 4 or 5 girls to fucking come over at like 8 p.m. or whatever, right? But the way I set up my house, it's very vibrant, very colorful, hot tub bar. It's very like fun lifestyle. So if I'm doing dates, I'm doing it straight at my fucking house. Like if I even decide to do dates, it's just gonna be like at the crib, right? Because you don't want to be a guy that's basing your life around having to chase women. You want to be attracting them, right? So what I found is the best dates is I'll go to the club on a Friday night. I'll bring out fucking 40 to 50 girls. Last night I was out with RSD Madison, one of the clubs here in Toronto, and just tables loaded up, and you know, all the girls there are potential dating options, right? So it's different girls that are in DMs. There's a Tinder girl there. There's a girl that you met in fucking gym or whatever, right? And you're just inviting them all out to this cool thing you're doing, and you can kind of like pick and choose, like an episode of The Bachelor. You can just kind of pick and choose, you know, what girl you're vibing with, who you want to take home that night. Maybe you decide you don't want to fucking go home with anyone. Maybe you want to fucking go home with your girlfriend that night, right? But now you have a relationship built. There's no fucking rule that says you have to hook up with a girl on the first day, right? But it is really about building that kind of ecosystem, having women around you. And then when it comes time that you do want to get laid or you do want to have fun, it's just a better option because now you have a bunch of girls that you know that are comfortable with you, that are used to coming out with you. And if you didn't want to go on a single date with one of those girls at a future point in time, now she's comfortable being around you. She's comfortable being in your house. She's comfortable coming straight over. You don't have to take her on like 3 fucking dinner dates or to the movies, you know, in order to get some pussy. Like, it doesn't really make sense. And I think that's a mistake a lot of guys make, is when they think of dates, they think of dinner, they think of the movies, right? Really what a date is, it's just an opportunity for you and the girl to hang out one-on-one, get to know each other, see if you're compatible emotionally and sexually, right? So I think most guys would actually benefit from having girls come straight over to their house. If they're going to do a date, just have drinks at your place, or like the rooftop above your fucking condo or whatever, right? Something that's more central where you have a better logistical opportunity where it could go better if you want to, if that's your goal and you want to improve your close rate. You know, it really is more about making sure you have a better logistical setup.
Yeah, the logistical thing is important, and like what he said before about the ratio, I think that's probably the most important thing to me. Is like for instance, living here in Las Vegas, I'll just tell you, like, dates are just were a waste of time. What it was Deadmau5 was performing at Zook, so I messaged a bunch of girls to come, and I would go there with like 40 or 50 girls. They'd give me like 2 comp tables, and it's like, it's not dating. You don't have to do fucking anything. The ratio is so massively in your favor. Like that was the thing. I'm just like, I would leverage these incredible social situations, the teatro parties, the Maxim parties at Dan Bilzerian's house, the Playboy Mansion, my bikini competition, Swimsuit USA, Paradise Challenge, all these different things where it would be like, I would just create an incredible ratio, and you just have to do very little, because what happens is, one of the most prominent things you can show a woman is pre-selection. In those large environments where the ratio is 3 girls every guy or 7 girls every guy, you're constantly getting validation from these women because they want validation from someone, and they're like, you're the only guy that's around. It's like the guy who works at he's the male busser working with a bunch of female cocktail servers. That dude gets laid a ton. Or the male nurse who works with like 40 other nurses, he doesn't really have a hard time with that because of the ratio is so incredibly in his favor. So I agree with that. I think that's probably an easier way to do that. Use social media in order to create ratio environments where it's like 7 girls for every guy.
I had a friend 15 years ago who ran his own yoga studio. So he said once, I was in a class, said, I make no secret of the fact that I fuck my female students. He just came right out.
Wow.
That.
Yeah.
My jaw dropped.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think
eventually he got married and destroyed his life. So there you go. He got punished.
He put his dick in crazy. Is that what happened? Is that what happened, Ross?
He got punished. He got punished for his sins, but there you go.
Yeah.
If I had to switch careers, I'd probably like figure out a way to become a social media influencer, and my target demographic would be like hot women. You know, like imagine you had like a mass social media following that's just like 90% women, right? Like imagine what you could do with that and the lifestyle you could have with that.
You should start a makeup channel, Justin.
Bro.
I hate your hair. I fucking hate your hair, man. I just want to live long enough to see it recede that much. Just that much.
Bro, I'm balding. I'm on finasteride. I'm on all the fucking hair medication.
Well, it's working.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Treats, you can't have treats till later, baby. Go away.
Alrighty, moving on. Let's get this cat's ass out the way. Game is a constant journey. Game is a constant journey. What is something you have learned recently, even at your level?
Make sure she's not trans.
There's an
I'm not
apple, there's a
joking.
banana.
Bro, it's so real. We're laughing because it's fucking true. That's why.
Hilarious.
Well, I'll tell you
Oh my
something.
God.
I don't just live in San Diego. I live in Hillcrest, which is the neighborhood. About 30% of my neighbors are whatever, non-binary, they, them pronoun, gender fluid, and you just don't know until you're you're there searching for the equipment, what's going on. It can happen to the best of us. So I would say that you better know. I wish I was joking. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
California. Yeah.
It's not something that I guess I learned. I guess I had to relearn a couple of times, is that a woman's attention is worthless. It's only her compliance. And a lot of times as men, we get attention from women and we confuse that for compliance. And so we give them back attention. When a woman gives us attention, it's worthless. When we give our attention to her, our value drops. Just like the same thing with sex. When we give sex to a woman, it doesn't do anything to our value. It doesn't cost us anything to give sex. But when a woman gives a lot of sex to a lot of men, in society, sometimes her value can drop. So one of the things I just can continue to reiterate to my students is that when you give attention to a woman for reasons, just because she's physically attractive, one of the things you do is like your attention means less. You should give your validation and attention to a woman who actually gives you compliance. That's the only way I do it. And once you do that, when you can maintain that one masculine boundary, it's incredible. Because with Sadia Khan, she said something effective. What one thing all women want is a man they cannot manipulate. I love that. They cannot manipulate. So if you're in a situation where it's like, hey, just like you look, I had this discussion with some of the guys who were on my Monday call, my free call, and I was explaining to them, the way you know if a girl's not sleeping with a dude is he's the guy leaving the heart eye emojis on her photos on Instagram. You 100% of the time, she is not fucking that guy, right? And I had guys actually argue. I had photographers come on there. They were arguing with me like, no, I like girls' photos sometimes, and I give them comments. It's like, they're like, don't you encourage women sometimes? And I'm like, yeah, I encourage them when they come over to my apartment. Then I can encourage them when they come over, when they show compliance. I also say compliance is below the belly button, attention is above the belly button. So that's the thing you have to understand. When you have that understanding, I don't confuse a woman's attention for compliance. I only confuse compliance for compliance.
That's brilliant. You know, that's sort of parallel. As you may or may not know, I don't even want to say the word transition based on what I was.
Ross, I'm 46 years old. I'm very familiar.
I've moved into the realm of teaching NLP and suggestive language for sales. And one of the things I say is rapport is way overrated. You don't want rapport, you want compliance. Rapport is only as good as it serves to create or to assist creating compliance. That's for sales, but I can certainly see, I've never heard anyone put it as succinctly before, that attention from a woman is worthless. It's compliance that's worthwhile. That's brilliant, but I'm right in line with that. I've never condensed it like that. That's really good. I'm definitely on the show, dude.
Fascinating.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just saying that.
When I was saying that, well, one of the things that I realized over the years, and I teach this, is that, you know, any type of resistance is some form of disinterest. And so this is why a lot of times I'm very direct with women, because what I noticed is that women are very clever. And this is kind of goes to what Michael was saying about just, you know, using a guy for attention and stuff like that. Women are very clever at making it seem as if my freaking camera's going crazy. But anyway, women are very clever at making it seem as if, you know, they're interested in you so that you can give them more attention, but they're not really following through. And so what happens is that if you test women to see how cooperative they're going to be, you'll notice sometimes they'll give you a little bit of resistance. And then you think that resistance means, well, maybe let me try harder. Maybe she's giving me what they call the pickup artist, the shit test and all that other stuff. So what happens is that there's some form of disinterest, because when a woman is 100% highly interested in you, there's no resistance, meaning that she's going to follow your lead to the freaking, you know, over the cliff. And so what I noticed is that, you know, women who are actually really, 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 really into you, all you do is give them direction and they follow. Whenever there's any form of this, whenever there's any form of resistance, anytime that you keep going, you're going to find more resistance. So for example, if I'm on a dating app and I say to a woman, hey, meet me at this bar 8 o'clock Friday. And if she says, well, actually, can we go to get dinner instead of drinks because I don't like to drink, right? That's a form of resistance. The reason why she's telling me that is because she's not 100% interested in me. The guy who she's 100% interested in, she's going to go where he says without any complaining, without any resistance. So I try to teach guys that is that understand that any form of resistance is a form of disinterest. Doesn't mean she's not interested in you at all. It just means she's not 100% interested in you, which is why there's some resistance there. But you know, that's what I get it.
I can work with 80% interest. That's not, I can't multiply zeros, but work with 80%.
The other thing that I've had to relearn over the last couple of years, I used to manage a strip club like 25 years ago. And one of the things I've had to relearn is that women's necessity for attention, it actually probably exceeds men's necessity for sex. I cannot, like, the more I see panel shows where women go on there, get insulted, and then just go back on again. When I see nightclubs where there's girls who are like, I'm never coming back to this nightclub. I can't believe you guys are rude to me. They're the first girls back there the next time. Women giving attention to men who treat them poorly, all this kind of stuff. Women's necessity for validation and attention is equal to that, to a heroin addict's necessity for heroin. Like, it is one of the craziest things. And if you manufacture it, we did an experiment one time. Light nightclub. I don't know if you guys remember this. It used to be open in the Mandalay Bay. We did one time where we had these two red cameras, the Red Dragons, the real $38,000 cameras. We didn't even turn them on. We had two huge lights, and we just posted it on our, shined it on our table as if we were famous or we were shooting some kind of movie or whatever. Every girl in the entire club came over to our table. One time, we threw a party after the Super Bowl at this guy's house. It wasn't a super nice house, but it was up in the Hollywood Hills. And we put 2 step-in repeats there with lights on the step-in repeats. These are just like, you know, like red carpets. There were no cameras. Every woman spent the entire time they were there on the red carpets taking pictures of themselves. Women's necessity and necessity for validation is more extreme than I even recognize. It's like, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The level of abuse that women will take and the level of bad behavior women will accept if they're getting the validation and attention that they're looking for. That's something I've had to relearn.
It's crazy. I'm totally in line. I got to tell you a story. 2 nights ago, as a favor to my operations manager, because he's going to fuck this woman who's going to fly out, he said, look, will you do this podcast? It's hosted by this dumbass woman. But I said, okay, what the hell? I spent 2 hours just flailing her alive verbally, because she said, well, I have this problem. I have all these simps giving me attention and I don't like it. I said, don't tell me, let me guess. You're on social media, you post pictures of yourself in bikinis and all. She said, how did you know that? I said, well, of course I know that. I said, why are you doing this? If you don't like simps, let's talk about your daddy wounds and your childhood trauma that require you to get constant attention from men. And she didn't like that. She, I don't have any daddy wounds. Then why are you getting attention? Are these simps giving you any money? Well, some of them do, but most of them don't. I just like getting their likes and blah, blah, blah. And so this is really funny. It goes so far, even not, I could see getting attention from a simp who's giving her money, but she wants the attention from guys she's not interested at all. So you're absolutely right, Michael. It is addictive, and particularly because it comes through the form of something that's designed to give you dopamine addiction. The media, way back when I was like 10 years old, there was a book called The Medium is the Message by a guy named
Mushroom McLuhan. Yes.
You got it. So the medium here is addictive in and of itself, even if you were sending pictures of your cat's butthole.
Guys, imagine this. Imagine the concept of going on a date with a woman you weren't interested in having sex with. How crazy does that sound? You just wanted her attention. None of us on this call and none of the people who follow us would go on a date with a woman we had no intention of having sex with. Women do it all the time. In fact, I'll say the majority of dates now are women doing it. Can you imagine going on a dating app for attention and have no interest in, like, no one you're right swiping with you have any interest of having sex with? Could you imagine that you were so necessitous of attention that you would do something like that? We would never, as men, we would never do that kind of thing. In fact, I'll tell you, most of the guys here, if I was like, hey, your money troubles are taken care of, and you get no attention on social media, but you get all the sex from all the women you want, most of us would be like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds fucking fun. I don't need the attention on social media. We are not necessitous of attention. But here's another big chain thing that I want to point out. My necessity as a young kid to better myself, to be more attractive to women, made me stronger, a better leader, a better speaker. It made me a better businessman. It made me improve as a human being. I'm not so certain that a woman's necessity for attention does the same thing to her to make her want to improve. That's all I'm saying.
Doesn't. It doesn't.
Such a good question, man. I have to ponder on it a little bit more.
Alrighty. MLD, are you here?
Hey, yeah, I am here. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning in Tokyo. I just tuned in. I just woke up.
Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Anatare kira des. How do you say it?
What are you trying to say?
Trying to say you very beautiful. Anatare
Anata kirei desu.
des.
Or
Yeah.
Bijin. Bijin is the best way. It's a beautiful woman.
And manko.
Yeah, that's the most important one right there.
Manko. That's all I know, man. All I know.
I'm in bed with a girl right now. She's like, "Who's this man saying pussy on the phone at 7 o'clock in the morning?"
Tell her it's the living legend.
I was gonna say, are you able to put your camera on? But maybe not. But
No,
you're in the fucking dark.
It's
Holy
7:58 a.m. here. I'm in bed. What's up, Locario? What's up? What's up,
on, man?
everybody?
How you been?
They just dropped the link. I'm just trying to come in and support the young guy here.
Thanks.
What's going on?
We did have what was the last question I asked? Let me open it up. The question I asked, in case you want to answer it, gaming is a constant journey. What is something you have learned recently, even at the level you're at now? Maybe that's
no matter how good you are, no matter how good you are, bro, like some girls are just not going to be interested in you. And I think guys need to understand that rejection. The biggest thing is I think a lot of guys don't realize how much rejection is involved with even the most successful guys. Like even like the perfect people like fucking Justin Waller and shit like that. Like these guys get told no too. And I think a lot of the guys they take the rejection too personally. And you can't. It's like I always use the Big Mac menu as an example, right? Like you got to find out what you are in life. You got to get in where you fit in, like some people go to McDonald's and they get the filet of fish, right? Some people go to McDonald's to get the Big Mac. Some people get McDonald's to get a double cheeseburger, right? You got to find out your market and find out which girls like you and market to those girls. And then, just get in where you fit in. And then, reps are everything, reps are everything. Like the reason why these guys become so good is because they just do it again and again and again. You like, I'm literally waking up out of a fucking slumber and I'm able to talk about game at a pretty high level here. I think a lot of guys are too afraid to get out there and put the reps in. There's a huge, these guys reject themselves before the girls reject them. And they take the rejection way too seriously. I just think they have to understand that rejection is a huge part of success in all aspects of life. And you're going to get way more rejected than you actually think you are, wherever you like mentally set out to do these things. And then sometimes, you're gonna pull a girl, you're like, damn, fuck, this girl's smoke show. And some girls are just into you. They just like you for you. Like they genuinely are, and you might think like, oh, this girl outranks me or whatever, but that's the wrong way to think. You just got to get out there and shoot your shot, and you'd be surprised who says yes and who says no. And just you got to take the feedback objectively, like a man too. Like if you look bad, if you have bad teeth, you have bad social skills, if you can't, if you're a shitty person, you do people dirty, and then the word around, catches up with you, and girls don't want to deal with you. You got to deal with all the consequences of your actions and optimize. Life is a game of endless optimization, as a man, if you want to be somebody, that is.
I'm putting that on my glass board.
What's that?
The optimization
game of, did you say constant or endless?
Endless optimization. Life is a game of endless optimization.
I'm gonna put that on my Facebook. What is your name? Optimization.
Optimus Prime.
No,
No, what do you go by? What do you go by?
MLD, Modern Life Dating.
Got it. I'm gonna quote you and put it on my Facebook.
All right. Well, they see right there the legend
And I'm
himself.
also gonna quote Michael. A woman's attention is worthless. A woman's compliance.
Hey guys, you know when she sends you those nudes, when she sends you nudes, guys can mistake that for compliance. No, she sent those nudes to 31 other dudes. And remember, she sends you the nudes using her thumbs. That's above the waist. Compliance is when she comes over to your apartment nude.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Sartain, you ever called them out? Do you ever call them out like, hey, don't send me your fucking copy pasta nudes. You better send me some organic nudes. I tell them that. I'm like, you better send me some nudes just for me.
When they ask me for nudes, I'll send them an actual picture of an eggplant. Just like big, large eggplant. Just keep sending them eggplants over and over again. It's so funny.
Can I get an original, authentic copy? No, not copy. Can I get the original?
This is why I would never date a woman my age. Can you imagine nudes from that? I would be projectile vomiting across the room.
That'll probably turn me gay. I don't know.
She would get that little bird from the Flintstones and like start chiseling it out on stone and sending it to you.
Oh man, oh niggly man.
Alrighty. Any other perspectives on this question before we move on? Alrighty then, let's go. What are some ways you can pick up other girls with a wing woman or girlfriend?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when it comes to building a soul circle, you can have a ton of women that go out with you and actually add value to everything you're doing. So the girls that know you, the girls that trust you, that know what you're about, they're going to come out consistently with you, and I mean, they're going to wing you. So, I mean, I've even gone on to teach girls game and teach them like what we're doing, or just having like, back to what we were talking about earlier, having like a proper setup thing you're doing consistently. They kind of know the routine. So a big thing I do is like pre-parties and after parties, right? And so the girls kind of will do the game for you. They'll fucking bring girls for you. They'll invite girls out for you. They'll bring girls back to the after party on your behalf. And that usually works better than you telling the girl to come back to your crib. Having hot girls tell other girls to come back to your crib is just such a better strategy.
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously that's exactly the same thing that I talk about, like having your girlfriend and other girls come and introduce you to other girls. Like, this is my birthday party. There's no like question afterwards, like, where are we going or what are we doing? Like, they're all going to come back to whatever I want to do because of the level of pre-selection and compliance that you're able to get. Does that make sense?
Hey, when I come out to Vegas, can one of those be sitting on my lap during your show?
That is, I don't know about sitting on your lap, Ross, but there'll definitely be some there for you. But yeah, it's always like,
you know what?
There has.
I want to offer up a challenge that I'll throw down. I can get at least one or two of these women hot using language patterns. You will see it before your very eyes. So
you know what? We'll film the whole thing. We'll film the whole thing.
So
but yeah, no, it's like you said before, it's women introducing you to other women. Like these two girls, like I happen to know them both pretty well. They're both married. And whenever we go out, they're like my wing girls, and girls never say no. There's no cold approach. Like when you're with two girls like that, every girl's going to say yes to you. So like, that's, I mean, that's exactly right. And also women that look like this give you access. Like, I mean, you have access to the best parties, the hardest places to get into. You always have access because of those situations. You're going to get comp tables. You're going to be on stage in different places. You're going to get invited. I mean, we took this picture at Dan Bilzerian's house. You're going to get invited to every location when you have this kind of access. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely the easiest thing. In fact, you just having a lot of women like this who show you compliance, you don't really have to do anything else. It can really take over for everything.
Do you have a helicopter, dude? Is that someone else's helicopter?
Yeah, someone else's helicopter. Definitely not mine. Yeah.
I love helicopters.
Yeah. Yeah, this is by the way, this is my main wing girl is the girl right next to me right here in the middle. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
Very wonderful. Any other comments on this before we move on?
I'm gonna drop off ice. Thanks for having us or having me. Go hit the gym, boys. But great talking to every one of you.
All right, brother.
Later, guys.
Later, guys. I'm out of here too. Peace.
Don't,
later, buddy.
Don't go up to heaven too quickly. Thanks. Oh, here's good one to discuss. Should you kiss girls in the club, or is it better to focus on pulling?
I'll let you guys go first because I have some very
Mm-hmm.
interesting things.
I think
this.
if you
Go
kiss
ahead.
him in the club, if you kiss him in the club, you're giving him too much attention. Like once you start kissing him, that's like either you got to start calling the check and making the move to bounce out, or that's just a form of giving her free attention. And
Yeah.
I'm fucking 38. I don't give a shit if a bitch gives a kiss to me. Like I'm trying to get some fucking pussy. So if they kiss you in the club, like it's almost a DHV for her. I mean, because it is to an extent for you too, but you got to know how to play it. But I'm all about, as soon as I test that buying temperature is going up, it's for me, it's check, please, let's go. Like it's time to close the deal. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, I would say, just in general, you always want to see if a woman is sexually attracted to you, period. So the thing is, I wouldn't be trying to take a chick out the club unless I kissed her first in the club to see if she's trying to even kiss me in the first place. So because like you take her out the club without kissing her, she hasn't shown you any type of cooperation or compliance with being any type of form of sexual with you. Then you take her out the club and then you try to get her back to your place, and now she's like, oh, I don't know, and all this other stuff. Now she could say that at any point, but what happens is if you see that she actually wants to kiss you, that's at least going in the right direction. Because the thing is this, women will kiss you for attention, but women who are definitely not sexually attracted to you will never kiss you. You see what I'm saying? So that's usually how it goes.
It is a good litmus test for sure.
Right.
So back to what MLD was saying, I would allow her to kiss me once. That's in the club, but I'm not going to, whenever I hear the pickup guy saying like, I made out with this girl like 7 times, we were going to fuck, but her friend like shit on me. I'm like, trust me, but she would tell her friend if she wanted to leave with you, she didn't want to leave with you. So remember we said before, compliance is above the belly button compliance is below the belly button and attention is above the belly button. When she kisses you, it could mean like, well, Locario said, if she's not going to kiss you, she's definitely not interested. When she kisses you, it could mean she wants to sleep with you, but also might mean she doesn't. But the answer is, like you said before, you need compliance. She needs to leave with you from that venue to go to another place. She needs to actually move her ass, which is below the belly button, to a new place in compliance with what you want to say. It's funny. So I was at Bilzerian's house one time, and he asked the question to all of us. He goes, do you think it's worse for a dude to go try to kiss a girl and get rejected, or if he tries to put her hand on his dick and get rejected? And of course, all of us were like, no, Dan, that's you. You can get away with just grabbing random girls and putting their hands on your dick. We're going to go to fucking jail. So I started asking a bunch of girls, and they agreed with Dan. They actually was like, it's worse to get rejected trying to go for a kiss and seeing her friends see it. Whereas like before, like I don't put the girl's hand on my dick. I'll put it on my leg, like middle of my leg, and see if she goes there. But like, it's one of these things where the rest of the group can't see the rejection that goes on or whatever. So I thought it was interesting. I don't know if I necessarily agree with Dan, but I thought it was an interesting analogy that he made.
Yeah, in a lot of like soul circle environments as well, kissing a girl could actually lower your value, right? It just like it come off try hard, you just come off like a fucking pickup dude, right? And like PDA is unattractive to a lot of people as well. So a lot of times, you might even be lowering like your perceived status in that environment. So I'm usually careful with that. I think the best way to figure out if a girl is, into you is just fucking asking her and like kind of escalating verbally instead of physically.
You think asking her is going to show you if she's interested? I disagree.
One of my favorite go-to, litmus tests is just straight up ask girls like, do you find me attractive? Do you want to go? Like figuring out her level of compliance verbally instead of physically. And I'm not against kissing a girl in the club, but it depends, right? Are you in a table with like fucking 80 hot girls and there's like some influencers there and, they're very conservative in nature and it could actually lower your value? Or is it just you and a girl? Like this is you and you're out and you don't give a fuck. It's just you and one chick. Then yeah, cool. Like make out there. It's not a big deal, right? And that's, it's going to be a great fucking way to know that she's into you, right? But there's other ways to go about it as well.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't ask for compliance, Justin, specifically about whether or not she likes me. But what I would say is, do you want to go to this next thing with me?
That's what I would say. Do you want to leave here with? That's like the ultimate form of compliance. But like you said before, like I host huge bikini competitions. If one girl groped me in front of the other girls, even if I was not attracted to her, it sends such a bad message. It's like, oh, I have to like fuck Michael Sartain to be in this competition. It's such a bad message that in those cases, what happens is I'm never going to show any intent unless we're alone. But she can show intent to me. But the way I figure out whether or not she wants to show me intent is let's go to the next thing. Let's do the next thing. Just to be as simple as like, I move to a different part of the table. Does she follow me there? For me, it's more compliance. I'm just going to ask for some sort of like physical compliance. And then it's going to lead a ladder that leads back to my place.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for 1,000%, Sartain. Like the number one thing and the worst thing a woman can tell me is the word no. Like even when I go give me that towel, she's like, no. I'm like, all right, this bitch is on her way out. Like, what's going on here? But compliance is really like it's huge. I know you're in the same vein with me, Locario. I don't need a girl with an opinion. I'll give it to her. You know, like I want you doing what I say.
Yeah, I just think that you gotta. There has to be some physical, because you need to see if she's actually about it. It's almost like if you go to all you can eat buffet. And your friend says, hey, you should taste this food. And you're like, well, it looks good. I think I'll like it. But you're not going to know if you like it unless you taste it. So I feel like it's the same thing with women, is that I need to see if you're actually going to do it. Because you can tell me anything you want. And then later on, and you really don't feel that way. But then later on, I wasted time with you now. And you're in my apartment. And now you don't want to do nothing. But I could have found out you didn't want to do nothing at the club. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at it, where it's like, I feel like a lot of times you attract more attention whores, but I do agree what you were saying in your situation where you're kind of working with these women and you're around all these other people that you have some sort of relationship with. So you don't want to give the wrong idea in that context. So I definitely agree with that, with what you saying, Michael, on that part.
Yeah, Michael has way more to lose if he comes off looking like a creep. Not that he is at all, but if he appears that way, it looks bad.
Let's be specific. So I met my girlfriend here at this event. It's called Swimsuit USA. The first time we were like intimate or whatever, we went off to the beach by ourselves, just the two of us. I wasn't going to do it in front of everyone else because that doesn't give her a way out. But because we were alone, it was one of these things where instead of like trying to make out whether we went to a club beforehand, what I did instead was, hey, do you want to go to the beach with me? Well, she said yes, and it was just the two of us. In that case, now she's showing me compliance. And now that if I want to kiss her, then she doesn't have to worry about her parents were on the strip, by the way. She doesn't have to worry about anybody seeing it or shaming her or judging her or anything like that. So for me, it's like, will you comply to come to this other place where, we can do things and not be judged by other people?
Right. And see that right there is game, because that's having social awareness, which I think a lot of guys don't have. So social awareness is understanding the situation you're in and what's happening in that particular situation to get the best result. So if you were in that situation and you was like kissing up on her in front of everybody, and my camera's going crazy, but if you was in that situation, doing whatever he was doing in front of everybody, then the message is, oh, he's this guy. So maybe if I try to do this with him, or maybe I'm not going to, work with him because he's this guy. You know what I'm saying? Versus even if you had if you have the previous intentions, even if that wasn't what you thought, that's what they would have probably saw. But if you're this woman who's actually interested in you and you're interested in her, let's go over here by ourselves and have this situation. Just like when guys approach women at the club in groups, sometimes the girl in the group that you want may want you also, but she doesn't want to show that in front of her friends. So then you pull her to the side and say, hey, let's go over here to the corner. Let's be by ourselves so you can like be comfortable to like tell me how you really are and do what you really want to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's why I started teaching leadership and stuff. I started teaching leadership in 2020, because 2019 is when I went full blown with all the the live webinar coaching and teaching the guys. We had like 1,000+ guys the first year, but then I realized like a lot of these guys are gigantic pussies. Like you guys have to be okay with taking the lead, and then her compliance is the biggest green flag, because like when they like you and like they're in that kind of like that heated up, that sexually preheated up state, they will follow you into a stairwell. They will follow you into a fucking broom closet. They'll follow you into a bathroom if they like you, but they're not going to follow you if you don't lead them. And I think that's a big component missing is, you know, teaching these men that they have to lead and that it needs to be part of their core personality moving forward as a man.
I liked what you said earlier, MLD, about you said you were 30 something. You don't need her to kiss you to validate you in the club. Even years back when I was going to the clubs a lot, as I was a little bit younger, I realized personally it was better for me to actually avoid kissing a woman at the club, because the way I saw it, at least back then, was in a way it kind of builds sexual tension, and it just became easier to take her back home with me. That was just my personal observation.
You're spot on. If you're doing like the pickup, like, you know, I'm trying to catch a woman in heat, I'm trying to catch a woman hot and heavy right now. Like once like when you kiss them, you start like a ticking time bomb, in my opinion. Right. And it's whether you need to get her out of the club, you need to isolate her in someplace in the club, you know, fuck her in the stairwell, fuck her in the bathroom, whatever, you know. And this is more degenerate stuff. Like I know Sartain guys like with like, you know, reputations can't be like sneaking off to like
no,
some
bro. It's
dingy...
called the unisex bathroom. Of course, you're correct, but it's called the unisex
All right, good,
bathroom.
good. Well, you know, because
just nobody needs to see shit. Nobody needs to know nothing. That's what I'm saying. You just need plausible. No. We just she had a problem with her contact lens. That's it needs to be plausible deniability.
I'm helping her find her pronouns.
I can imagine Michael sneaking off with a full tuxedo in like a charity event with a microphone by accident to a broom closet and banging some girl.
Bro, I forgot to turn the microphone off one time. Bro. That was
I
bad.
bet you.
Wait, what? Tell us the story.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Hey, baby, what's going on?
That's funny.
But when they're down, when they're super down, like, you know, like I think kissing them really it lights the fuse. But I think ultimately what Mr. Locario said is true. Is like it is a litmus test. It is a situation where you're going to weed out the ultimate, you know, candidate or not. Are you down to have sex with me right now, here, or within the next 30 minutes, you know, or are you just fucking around because I'm gonna find another girl who's not? And because I'm trying to save time too as well, you know.
Yeah, and I just found, well, obviously every guy finds this, but yeah, you gotta kiss at the club, great, and then she goes away, and then you don't see her again. Some of the time, or sometimes she comes back, and then whatever, the nightclub is just so fucking chaotic. You just lose the fucking rope on that one. So yeah, congratulations, you kissed like 3 girls at the club, but pulled to 0. It's like that's the situation guys need to realize sometimes.
In my case, in the nursing home, you gotta learn how to sneak your Filipino nurse into one of the maintenance closets.
Oh no.
I have nothing to say about clubs. I haven't been in a club
hilarious
in 40 years. I can't speak to it.
The way I see it, you're pioneering nursing home game.
Nursing home game is where it's at, man. There's nothing like you know, the only thing that beats a Hummer is a Gummer.
This is incredible, and we are all counseled.
Can I say that'd be funny, Sartain, if I said that on your show? That would get some laughs.
Well, I think the consequence of having this discussion is now there are going to be some people watching this who are like 20 years old and are like, nursing home seems like a good idea.
Oh my God, bro. Let's stop.
Hey, Ice White, I'm gonna bounce out, buddy. I got.
Oh, he just muted himself.
Sorry, I'm on fucking mobile. No, I gotta bounce out. It's Sunday morning. I want to go grab breakfast and stuff with this girl.
No worries. Thanks for coming in.
Ice.
Hey, Ross. Great to meet you. All the guys. Great to meet you.
Likewise. Sayonara.
Good to see you, John.
I'll holler at you, man.
Take care, boys.
Thanks.
Sayonara.
All right, man. Awesome. It's just the 5 of us left to spread our red pill misinformation.
And
we're the only ones left to do this.
In 15 minutes, I've got to go get something printed out. Here's a cool thing. tomorrow I'm going to a Reiki level 1 training. It's going to be, it's going to be 50 chicks and me. No, for real.
It is going to be so, and they're all, and go up to every one of them and be like, hey, what's your astrology sign? And all of them are just going to
No, they're all, here's the thing. These girls are all super
what's your love
suggestible.
language?
They're all super suggestible. No,
of course they are. They believe in Reiki nonsense. Of course.
Look at it.
Do whatever you want.
Look at it from a hypnotist perspective, strictly on the scale of suggestibility. If they're going to imagine, and they don't imagine, they think it's real, they're going to be imagining energy flowing. They're incredibly suggestible. So one horny hypnotist and 50 suggestible women, most of them are into yoga. It's going to be a party. That's my situations. I can set up those. I can't.
You seem like such a Gemini. That's what you. The girls are just all for that shit. That's so great. That's so great. One thing I want to say, MLD just took off. Is the concept of leadership is so fucking true. If you can lead groups of women, it is so like I get into large groups of women and I turn into fucking Ray Lewis right before a Ravens game. Like I start yelling at them and like I'm like, let's go, let's fucking get this thing going, man. And I'm telling you, like nothing has been able to help me. Like this is before. Like I give these pep talks before every bikini competition. Like there's these things when you can lead groups of girls, bro. It is crazy what happens because because it's so their evolutionary psychology just tells them, hey, this guy's a leader and I need to follow what he's doing. And that's it, man.
Can I call you on something, Sartain? Can I call you out on something? I want to call you out on something. Here's what it is. There's a phrase called empty net goal. You're the super high status. You're the super high status guy at these bikini contests because you're owning them or throwing them. So you're the super high status guy. It's an empty net goal. Of course, you're going to get laid. Most guys, okay, you don't even have to have game to get laid in that situation. Very few, maybe 0.1% can set up situations like that.
No, so
hold on, let me finish, and then I'll hear you. Let the old man finish. I'm coaching guys who live in Junk Spot, Idaho, who are lucky if there's an old crone in the cornfield. So, they can't set up those kind of situations. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, so I actually teach what you just saw to all of my clients in all different parts of the world. So like what you're saying, like the 1% could do it. If you go on my website, it's Instagram testimonials, and you can go and you can see other guys in other parts of the world that just kind of replicate what I do, and they have the same success that I do. I have 30, 40, 50 guys just like this. And then every archetype that you can think of. So it's like an Asian guy who like doesn't think that white girls like him. Every one of those type of dudes, I have that kind of guy in my program, and I teach them how to set up these exact type of situations. You're right, it is difficult. I think it was difficult. I don't think it's difficult anymore. I think we've gotten to the point now where there's techniques that are set up. This guy right here is not even 5 feet tall. There's techniques that are set up to where everyone can do this. Now, everyone can't do this like mathematically, but if you wanted to learn how to do this is something easily teachable.
You have to have some dough, though, to finance it, do you not?
No, we do not use any money at all in any of these events.
Put on a contest. You don't need money to rent a venue or do any of that.
Right. So for that contest, someone else put up the money. I'm not the one putting up the money.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, someone else is putting up the money. But like at these events, we're never the ones who are paying for.
Who is that? Someone from the Wizard of Oz? I'll show you.
That's right. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, these events, it's always someone else who's paying for it. We're just bringing like large groups of girls and doing some social media coverage. And that's how you get invited to all this stuff.
So I'll just take it a meta step out. How many guys can get someone else to pay for a contest? So let me just throw that right back. You know what? Save it for your podcast. It'll be
for sure. Yeah, there's 6 different event types, and that's one of them. One of them is the contest.
Let's save it for your podcast.
For sure.
Already. Yeah, well, we're here actually. Ross and Michael especially. Ross, what's your view on red pill? I don't think I asked you that before. Red pill.
Red pill. Oh, okay. A lot of what red pill teaches, I agree with. I think it's great to point out the games women play and how they're fucked up and all the rest of it. But here are my challenges with red pill. Number one, it's a bigger set of 30,000 view. Let's look at it from a 30,000 view. I have problems with evolutionary psychology in general. It's a very weak science. Evolution is not. Physical evolution and the evolution of the species, that's science. Here's the problem with evolutionary psychology. First of all, behavior doesn't fossilize. There's no way to fossilize behavior. You can't look at it that way. So that's the first thing. Behavior doesn't fossilize. We don't know. We can only speculate how selectivity and mate selection worked back then. Number two, trying to extrapolate from animals to humans has some serious scientific flaws in it. So if you look and say, well, this is how it works with our closest animal relatives, apes and such forth, you may get into trouble doing that. The third thing I don't like is that red pill tends to deify men and demonize women. When you talk about sociopathy, narcissism, that kind of thing, those traits are not gender specific. Those are across the board. They may manifest and show up differently with a man than a woman, but there's no proof that narcissism classic narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder is defined in the DSM-5 or 4, whatever issue it is.
5.
I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that's more prevalent in women than it is in men. It can show up in different ways.
So borderline is more prevalent in women, and sociopathy is more prevalent in men.
That may, okay, there you go. Borderline, I understand borderline quite well. The only form of therapy effective for it is dialectical behavior therapy. I'm well familiar.
Yep.
Right. So that's one thing. I think maybe I have this wrong. So listen to my qualifying words. Maybe I have this wrong, but their definition of solipsism is incorrect. Solipsism has two classical definitions in philosophy. One, it's a theory of knowledge. It says the only thing we can be certain of is what's in our own mind. It doesn't say the only something that exists. It's just a theory of knowledge. It's a branch of epistemology. And now another form of solipsism is saying I am the only thing that exists in the universe, and the rest of the universe is just a projection of my mind. So
I think that's an accurate definition for how they describe women, though. I think that is the way solipsism is used in Red Pill.
Yes, I don't see any evidence that women literally believe that they're the only living creature that exists.
No, but they do think that their feelings are more real than objective reality. And from that, they're solipsistic. And they believe that you believe the same thing they believe because they believe it. In that case, that is solipsistic.
Okay, I don't know if that's solipsism or not. I do agree that they rank feelings higher than objective reality, but I could turn around and say that anyone who believes in Jesus is ranking their belief is really a feeling that something is true. I could say, I mean, any religious person of any gender believes their feelings are more important than
but that wouldn't be solipsistic because other people believe it too. And they believe it because other people believe it. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying about putting your feelings above other things.
Sometimes, Sartain, and sometimes, I'm telling you, because I've talked to religious people. When I talk to religious people, I never ask them what they believe. I say, we can talk about that later. Tell me how you came to believe it. And about 50% will say, I had a direct experience where I felt the presence of the Holy Spirit. So they're more interested in what they felt individually. So that's my major concern with Red Pill. That's it.
So to answer what you're saying, Red Pill and evolutionary psychology are two different things. The kind of the merging of the two came mostly from Rollo. That concept of actually taking Lita Cosmides, Gad Saad, David Buss, Joffrey Wilson, Stephen Stewart Williams, Hector Garcia, those evolutionary psychologists, and taking their work and putting into Red Pill content, that came later. Most Red Pill content is trust me, bro. The actual scientific stuff is pretty rare. That's what I try to focus on. Going back to what you said before, evolutionary psychology is not because bonobos do it, humans do it. Evolutionary psychology is if we were to measure the behavior of every society on Earth, individual from one another, and in fact, including societies that have no radio, television, or film, what are the proclivities that we find that are common amongst human beings in all those societies? So for instance, in the 37 culture study Dr. Buss did, in all 37 cultures, women were more interested in men were procuring resources than the other way around, 2 to 1, and men were more interested in casual sex in every single one of these things than women were interested with men. So what does that mean? That means that those proclivities at some point during our ancestral past aided in survival. That's all it means. All evolutionary psychology means is that there are concepts that aided in survival during the Pleistocene epoch are the things that were passed on today. And because there is no selection pressure for humans anymore, you can be diabetic, live in a fucking trailer park, be extremely broke, have a bunch of medical disorders, and be in debt, and still have numerous children because there's no selection pressure anymore. Those things are not weeded out of our psychology anymore. And so because of that, we still have the psychology of someone who lived 200,000 years ago. That's all evolutionary psychology is. And that's where the explanation comes from. But it's not specifically, like for instance, parental investment hypothesis. That's one that actually is evolutionary biology. That means in every two gender species, the gender that actually has more to lose or invest more in the raising of the child is the one that is the more selective. And we see it with seahorses and fish, where the males carry the eggs, the women compete for them. But in pretty much every mammal, it is the men competing for women. We also see the dimorphic difference. Like for instance, elephant bull seals are about 6 to 10 times the size of the females because they compete with each other to the death for access to females. Whereas Homo sapien males are about 15% bigger than males. So than the females. So that's evolutionary biology. Evolutionary psychology is specifically what proclivities are in our firmware that aided in survival in our past, and then how do they affect us today? So jealousy, murder, things like that. That's where those things come from. But the studies don't come from about behavior being solid. Sure, behavior is always different. It's psychology. It's like, for instance, my ancestors did not like the smell of sulfur. I guarantee you they didn't. Ross, I don't have to go back in time. I guarantee you they did not enjoy the smell of sulfur. I guarantee you that my ancestors did not eat poop. I guarantee you my ancestors had a fear of heights. I guarantee you my ancestors had a fear of snakes. And I guarantee you my ancestors, if they were look at a symmetrical woman with nice skin and a nice hip to waist ratio and signs of youth, they would find her more attractive than they would find an older, more overweight woman. My ancestors would feel that way. And I don't need to like go back in time to know that. I just know that those proclivities aided in survival.
Sure. That's okay. That seems self-evident to me. That was not what I've seen presented. What I've seen presented is concepts like the alpha male, and they've extrapolated that.
So what I would do, Ross, is like watch evolutionary psychologists. They're not in the red pill. There's no evolutionary psychologists that are in the red pill. None. There's zero. Maybe Joffrey Wilson because he fucks with fucking Tucker Max, but there's none of them. So what they do is they provide the work, and then red pill content creators then extrapolate from that work whatever they believe. And some stay close to the data, and some don't. And some don't stay close to the data at all. But yeah, the two things are not red pill and evolutionary psychology are not the same thing. Okay. Red pill is a derivative of evolutionary psychology, but there's a lot of trust me, bro, involved in that as well.
Good answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good opportunity to mention the alpha male thing as well, because me, Ross, and Michael, I think we all agree on like the insanity behind people just seeing alpha male all the time. Such a fucking obsession with it.
Well, but the thing is, it means something in taxonomy. It means something in biology. An alpha male is a real thing. There's no way you can look at one gorilla that literally kills other gorillas in order to have access to a harem of women. That is what an alpha, but you need to think of the term alpha male as a placeholder, not an actual strict definition. This man is an alpha male. This man is a beta male. What you need to do instead is say, in this context, like for instance, at my birthday party, all those girls were there to see me. I am the alpha male contextually. If we left my birthday party, went into a club, and then all of a sudden a Calvin Harris starts playing, Calvin Harris now, the alphaness now shifts to him. Contextually, he is alpha to me. So there's alpha characteristics and beta ones, and they are contextual and they change over time. It's like holding a puff of smoke in your hands. Yeah.
And they change according to social settings. If on the way to that club, a cop pulls you over, he's the alpha male. He's got the gun, badge. He can get on the radio and get 100 other people to beat the shit out of you. He can shoot you and then cover it up. I've always said it's contextual.
Yes, contextual. Yeah. It's just the term is a placeholder, because if you don't use that placeholder, then things get very complicated. But the thing is, people find that concept offensive. And most people who find that concept offensive are men who do have beta traits and women who date men who have those beta traits. They don't like the fact that you're calling out the fact that their husband is fat and a loser, and she allows him to cuck. She cucks him. Like, for instance, they have an open relationship. I know Joffrey Wilson is like this, the professor. They have an open relationship. She has sex with other men. He accepts that behavior, and then therefore that concept is not alpha. They feel like it's a personal attack against them. Those are the people who generally have a problem with that term.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not necessarily cuck doesn't apply to open relationships.
Well, hang on.
No. In this case,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Locario, open relationships are different. What I'm talking about is a relationship where like he watches her with another.
Oh, right.
Yeah, with another dude. Yeah. In that case,
yeah.
I
My
have to
bad.
bounce Sartain. Will you get Sartain's info for me, Ice? And I'm definitely coming out there. And my challenge is don't tell the chicks I do hypnosis.
I won't tell them anything. Bro, I will let you hypnotize my girlfriend. I don't give a shit. Ross, I want to see this.
Just tell
anything
them
for views. Anything for views. I'm
tell
just like a
them
woman. I need the
just
views.
tell them I'm your favorite uncle.
Sure.
I'm a little bit of a perv, but I just want to see what you young people are up to these days. Just tell them and watch what I can do. Video, because people say it's all bullshit. I'm going to prove it right then and there. I'll put $500 to your favorite charity if at least one or two don't go fucking into a horny trance that you can definitely.
I love it. And I know the perfect girls too. All right, guys, I got to go too. It's really great talking to you guys. Check by the way, any of you guys who are in Las Vegas, I don't know when this comes out, Ice, but during the Super Bowl, if you guys are in Las Vegas at the Super Bowl, hit me up. I'm hosting a charity event, Hounds for Heroes, where they train service dogs for disabled veterans. That's going to be Thursday at Sahara. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in joining me for that, there's also going to be 400 girls there. So if you guys are interested in joining me for that, just hit me up on Instagram or wherever, and I can get you guys tickets. All right,
Michael, what is your favorite charity? Is it cat charity?
My favorite charity is probably the Stray Cat Alliance in Los Angeles. Yeah,
that's
probably it.
I support the Cat Lounge. It's called the Cat Lounge in San Diego. My favorite runs it.
That one, Toys for Tots would be another one, and then the Douglas J. Green Memorial Foundation, where they send care packages to troops overseas. Those are probably my favorite.
I gotta go. Shalom, everybody.
Guys.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Glad you guys connected. That's fascinating. Now we're down to the last ones. Yeah, anything you guys want to say?
Yeah,
we'll go on only for like 25 more minutes at most.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say, because I gotta head out too. The last thing I'll say too is just I think when it comes to guys just learning game, I think guys need to really put themselves out there and see what works for them. Because I think a lot of times a lot of guys are on the internet and they just watch our videos and they, you know what I'm saying? So they'll watch it, but they won't actually go out in the real world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm sure, Justin, you go out in the real world and you do things and you meet people, and there's like people who watch you that won't. And so I always encourage people, look, you got to actually go outside in the real world so that you can really feel and understand what we're talking about. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, like experiential wisdom kind of trumps all, right? So even like sitting at home watching pickup content or red pill videos or any dating coaches, whatever, right? Like you just got to actually get out of the house and try things and test things and actually get experience. You know, I think a huge issue a lot of guys have is like they talk in front of a fucking microphone, but even a lot of coaches like aren't actually even going out and practicing the stuff they fucking talk about. You know, I think it's a huge issue in the dating coach space, or in like this whole fucking manosphere space in general. It's like a lot of guys don't even leave the fucking house and are teaching, you know, and so a lot of the guys that are even learning this stuff aren't fucking going and practicing this stuff. So it's all just like theory, right? But you got to actually put this stuff into practice to actually figure out what works and what doesn't.
Real talk. But yo, man, I gotta head up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all too, man. You know, Ice, hit me up and let me know, you know, whenever you put this up, and you know, I'll spread it around. You know what I'm saying?
Spread it around Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
And beyond.
All right, Justin. Y'all be safe. Peace.
All right, Locario, take care, bro.
Later.
See you, man.
All right.
Down to me and Justin.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Well, I guess it's just us then.
Chat for a bit. I got some time.
That's nice.
Yo, just a heads up. I have 4 girls in my dude, I have 4 girls in my house right now. They're like asking me, like, are you almost done your fucking stream? Like, girlfriend's fucking doing laundry in the back. Like, girls are coming to ask me for food and shit. And I'm like, guys, fuck off. I'm on stream. Like, I keep thinking this is a live stream, so I keep thinking we're like fucking live streaming. So I'm just like fucking shoe, you know. But
well, unleash the chaos. I'm okay. So I can't stay too much
longer.
I had to go
I don't know.
off
They're fucking like watching Netflix and shit. Yeah.
Cuddling up to whichever. With your Pokemon Teddy, where that fucking went. Or maybe some crazy bitch threw out the window.
No, dude, no, we got rid of that one. The fucking Pokemon, the Squirtle, fucking giant squirrel I had, we got rid of that. But I have a bunch of, the fucking 2 girls in that room. So I live in a 2-bedroom by myself, 2 king-size beds, right? And like, bro, to be honest, most of the time, like, I don't know, like, I go through these cycles where I'm just like around chicks all the fucking time. And then I also go through these cycles where it's just like me and the boys, you know what I'm saying? So I'll go through these like fucking like momentum periods where it's just like me pimping it. It's just like me and my wingman pulling, partying all the time. And I go these cycles, just like me and my entourage of bitches, bro. So I got Farron and Ashley in that room. Got my girlfriend in. It's like OnlyFans chick in the other room. And like girlfriend's like literally just texting me, see my laptop here. She's like, "Can we hang out?" Fucking girls asking to bring like, all right, man. I'm like people text me for the night out. It's gonna be a good night tonight, man.
Mm-hmm.
Evening plans for the night, Saturday night. Oh, dude, wait, are you in London still?
Yeah, unfortunately. Although I'm
shit,
actually
so
getting
maybe
out of
it'll
here
night for you
soon,
now.
so I'll be back on the East Coast June. In time for
Nice.
Canada
Yo,
Day.
come visit
hopefully.
Toronto, man. Dude, come visit. Oh, bro, I'm doing a boot camp that weekend. You should come out to Toronto, come hang out if you want.
Mhm. I think I'll only
Dude,
be
I would even say come stay at my fucking place. But I've someone staying with me that weekend. But if you get a place like nearby or whatever, you come. Dude, bring your girl out too. I assume she's coming with you, bro. We'll fucking go out. We'll go crazy. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, thanks. I got like the whole family, my daughter, my wife. It'll be her first time flying in a while because by then she should be good to fly. So we got the flights booked for Halifax. Yeah, I have only been to Toronto once. That was 5 years ago. Seemed pretty cool though.
Maybe I'll make it to Halifax, bro.
That would be
Is there anything
even
else you want to talk
crazier.
about?
Yeah, I was gonna say I had to even go off screen for here's a dirty revelation for the guys watching. I even went off screen like an hour ago. I desperately needed a piss, so I just pissed into a cup. So I don't have time to fucking run to the bathroom. The bathrooms, all the bathrooms are like the other fucking side. So it's too far away for me to like, and then my earphones would probably lose connection. But anyway, stupid shit.
I mean, yeah, bro, we went for fucking almost 3 hours, bro.
In your experience, have you observed any difference gaming in North America compared to gaming in Europe? Although from your perspective, I did want to ask this to everyone else because we had almost an all-American panel apart from us. But either way, you might be a little bit traveled, but from your perspective, at least.
Yeah, so great question. So you know what's funny? I think the stereotypical perception is that European women are more promiscuous. Now that might have been the case 30, 40 years ago, like pre-internet, right? But in my experience, I find North American women are way fucking sluttier, dude. Like way more promiscuous, way more DTF.
So in my experience, I find that European women are a lot. It really depends, right? What city? Because Europe's a very big place. There's like how many countries in Europe? Like 50 or something like that. So
That's
like,
crazy.
or it might be like 20, 30, something like that, right? So it depends where you go, obviously, and it depends on what city you're in as well, right? But I find in general, North
44.
American women are more promiscuous and more fucking sexually outgoing than European women, right? I find like a lot of the OnlyFans girls or a lot of the porn star chicks, like they're fucking North American based. And dude, I mean, I live in Toronto, right? So Toronto's a really interesting city because like very good nightlife. But dude, the girls are all like fucking sugar babies. Very similar to like LA, Miami. Like there's a lot of more promiscuous women in a city like Toronto than I would say in most places you'd find in Europe. Like I find a lot of Eastern Europe, the women are a lot more conservative. Maybe they'll wait a little bit before they sleep with you. Like I'll give you an example. Ukraine. There's tons of Ukrainian women that are immigrating to Canada. Outside of Ukraine, Canada has the largest Ukrainian population, right? And I mean, it's like, dude, Toronto's like half the fucking girls that are out now are like Ukrainian refugees or girls that immigrated here before the war, after the war, whatever, right? And I find a lot of those women are less likely to sleep with you on the first date than the local women that grew up here, right? So, I mean, I've dated Ukrainian women and I've experienced that. So I find a lot of European women generally are less likely to sleep with you right away, right? But when they do, they're a little bit more wild, a little bit more crazy, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more exotic.
It's crazy because speaking of Ukraine, a year ago, I had a Ukrainian coworker and she just moved to London because she was just evacuating from Ukraine basically as a refugee or whatever. And we had like this staff party and she had this one-on-one conversation with me. I was digging some information out and she would basically go on Tinder and go on dates every single week, multiple times per week, and have guys pay for her food and then never sleep with them. She was just like using them just for a free meal. Some
I think a
crazy
lot of
shit.
I think a lot of European women are a lot less promiscuous than society even gives them a reputation for. You know, I don't think they're as promiscuous as people think they are, right? Versus like, I mean, it depends where you go in America as well, right? Because you go to like the Midwest and you have like very conservative like type women that don't sleep around. Then you'll have a lot of conservative women that act conservative, but actually, you know, they're out fucking, you know, they go to college, they're away from home for the first time, they're running around sleeping out like with any guy they can get their hands on, right? So it's very, it really depends on like per person. But I just know my experience as a club promoter in a city like Toronto. You know, I have access to a lot of women. I meet a lot of beautiful women. It's been a lot. It's a lot of fun, you know. But you know, if I go to a place, if I go to a certain place in Europe, I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. Like fucking, I'll tear it up anywhere I go. Yeah. So I mean, we were in fucking Mykonos, you know, for 3 nights of Poland. I went to Poland for fucking 3 days, in 2022, late 2022. Poland, you know what I mean? Like as long as I have my fucking wingman, one of my solid fucking wings to go out with and pimp it, you know, off cold approach, we'll tear it up. You know, in Toronto, I have more of a setup, you know, so obviously I'm a little bit biased because I'm like fucking, I'm seeing the best and the worst of women. I'm around so many fucking women. It's absolutely absurd. Right. But I definitely feel it really depends on what city and what country you're in as well. There's actually a game map. Fuck, I don't know who set this up, but there's like a map that shows you every country in the world and how easy it is to get laid. And so a lot of the times, like I was traveling with Bradicus back in the day, and we were like actually using that map as reference on like what country to go to next, or like what to go to next, right? And I don't think it's entirely correct at times. Like it said Peru is easier than Colombia, but I was in fucking Colombia in dude, I smashed 22 women in a week, right? All from Tinder and Instagram, right? 0 from cold approach. Yeah, I found going to the club was useless because the scalability that you know, I have in a city like Medellin from fucking Tinder or dating apps is just fucking insane. And like I could probably get similar results like that in Toronto. If I don't have any girlfriend, I was really motivated, I really want to get some pussy, I could probably do 15 women in a week in Toronto if I really push myself. I was really pushing myself that week in Medellin, you know, but like the setup we were staying at fucking this like luxury mansion that was fucking used to be owned by fucking Pablo, you know, and then just like I was running Instagram ads. I've really pimped out Instagram. Like we're doing all this really cool shit. So, you know, I was tearing it up, doing really, really good. You know, so it really depends. Like, I think really what matters the most is your proactivity towards, you know, trying to get the girls. And then also like your setup. Like, obviously, like I'll give you another example of this. Like I went to Egypt and there's like no women there. It's like, how do you even fucking meet women there? But I'm sure there must be some fucking dude out there in Egypt that is finding hot single girls and tearing it up. You know what I'm saying? So like the way I see it is there's always a guy getting laid in any city you go to more than the rest of them. There's always going to be like, there's some dude in LA getting mad pussy. There's some dude in New York getting mad pussy. There's some guy in Toronto getting mad pussy, right? And you just got to find what the top guys are doing and just kind of copy the strategy.
Bring them onto the panel.
Because say again?
Bring him on to this panel. We have to fucking get to the bottom of this. We need like 193, however many countries there are. Just have everyone on here, like the one representative. We got the North Korean guy. How does it work in North Korea? How fucking weird would that be?
And I'm sure there's like some fucking dude who has like a dominance hierarchy set up in North Korea in Pyongyang, like fucking North Korea, right? Who's just like part of the government, and he's just tearing it up, tearing pussy left and fucking right. It's probably Kim Jong Un, right? And but like, there's someone doing it in a way, shape, or form, and he's getting more pussy than the rest of them, right? And so like, that's kind of the mindset I've always taken with travel. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if I'm like, I don't like comparing cities or countries, because one very common thing that me and my dating coach buddies used to have back in the day, whereas we would always joke about how our like audience would be like, oh, well, you can get pussy in that city, but you can't get girls in my city, right? So I always thought it was really, really funny how that works, because it's like, of course, that's not true. There's always someone getting pussy in that city. And so like, what I used to like to do is travel, because I don't really travel as much as I used to, but I used to love to travel to different cities and just fucking tear it up in that city, just kind of flex on everyone that it's possible to get women in your city, right? Whether you're in like Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, or Barcelona, Spain, or like Manila, Philippines, like it's like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. Like, there is someone out there in that city getting puss. You can come say hi if you want. Yeah, go for it. So like, there's always someone out there just fucking doing it, And so like, you just got to realize that there's someone out there doing it, and most guys have an excuse of why it's not them. So I don't even like comparing North America to fucking Europe, because it's like, bro, if you put me in like Helsinki, Finland, like I would love to go, like probably one of the next trips I'm going to do is probably going to be like Helsinki, Finland, because like the girls are just fucking gorgeous, and it's just so easy to get women there, right? As a ethnic minority brown dude or whatever. Like I remember going there with my ex-girlfriend many years ago, and like, bro, girls just like eyeing me like, what the fuck? And then one of my best friends keeps saying, bro, we gotta go to Helsinki. Like the girls there are like all fucking models, and they're all super fucking hot. So I know if I was gonna see like Helsinki, I'm gonna do great. I'm gonna fucking tear it up. We're gonna have a great fucking time, right? So it doesn't really matter. It really just matters like you're on this is the map. So it really just matters effort, right? But yeah, so if you look at the map, right, Canada, America, Helsinki, Finland, or all Scandinavia, it's all like relatively the same, right? But I think what matters more is like your experience in that city, like how, like the reason I do so well in Toronto is because I've done so much game in Toronto for so many years that I just figured out, what works and what doesn't. Like I just kind of figured out over a long period of time what would be the optimal setup and strategy to tear up pussy in Toronto, right?
Sure.
And so that's why I do fucking better than anybody know in Toronto, right? And so, I'm sure if I go to fucking, I don't know, like Turkey, for example, there might be a bit of a learning curve, or if I go to fucking like Kazakhstan, there might be a bit of a learning curve. I might not have the same setup or the same strategies that work in Toronto, but for a longer period of time, I figured it out. Even over a short enough period of time, I figured it out, right? And so, I don't think it really even matters what city or country you're in. Obviously, if you're in like Saudi Arabia or fucking, like Egypt or like very strict Muslim countries, right? It might be a little bit difficult, or might be a little bit different. Even like a place like India, like I don't know. I've never actually been to India, so I have fucking no idea.
They put it in yellow.
But like, I'm sure I'll do well. Say again?
They put it in yellow, and
yeah. So
India
I mean, I don't know
being a
if
big community for me, it's
I've seen statistics with India that say like the average female body count there is 1, right? And so I'm sure I would do well. And like, cause I have a huge social media audience, and like, I've kind of gone, like, I don't want to say I've gone mainstream or whatever, but like a lot of my videos popped off. I did like 300 million views on Instagram in a span of a few months. And I have a lot of like Indian fan girls. I'm not attracted to Indian girls at all. And they just cold DM me asking for sex, asking to come fucking link up with me. Like, but obviously, all these girls are in fucking India, right? So, like, I'm sure if I went to India specifically from just like fangirls, I'd tear it up, or from like Tinder, I'd tear it up, right? But I'm sure if I went there, I'd have a bit of a fucking learning curve, right? I'm sure I would have like a bit of a difficulty because I don't speak the language, I don't really understand the culture, right? But over a longer period of time, I'm sure I'd figure it out, and I'd probably get better results than the average guy there because I have so much dating experience in general. But I might even go there and I'd have to consult the local dating coaches and, kind of pick their brain and see what's up, so it's going to be like that anywhere you go, but there is always someone out there tearing it up, like I know that Delhi, like in your game global group, I know like Delhi and Mumbai and like the big cities have like a big game community,
Oh, fucking
I would
huge.
actually argue that the game communities in India, because like I've seen like a lot of pickup forums, like some of the most active groups now are like the big Indian cities, right? So like, there's guys out there doing game. right? I don't know if you ever talked to Iron Man Lifestyle, Shitej. He's got a massive audience. He teaches PUA game. He's got like 400,000 fucking subscribers, right? So there's obviously a huge market for guys in fucking India learning this shit, right? You should look into him. Iron Man Lifestyle. He's got like a few 100,000 followers. He's like the biggest dating coach out of India.
We should
Right?
have
Me and
him
have
on the
talked a
next
lot.
panel. That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna say,
should do
hit him
like
up.
an
You can have him on the next
expedition.
panel.
You should do like an
Yeah,
expedition to
I know
India
he's
and just see how
he's
it
actually been
goes.
to London. He's done game in London, and like I mean, he's like got a pretty big audience. He's gone very like mainstream. He got canceled at some point as well, but then his shit just kind of popped off, and he's got a very large YouTube audience now, and he's just teaching game, teaching pickup. He's a huge fan of like the RSD guys from back in the day, right? I know he's been like trying to do a boot camp with Owen for a very long time. Me and him have been trying to link up in person for quite some time because I think it'd be a fun collab. So like there's a big game community there. So obviously there's like a market for guys learning that shit. But then, I always get like these comments on YouTube saying, you can never do game in India. But like, I will do like, bro, I lived in Australia for a bit, teared it up there. Spent a lot of time in LA or like Miami. Like, dude, like anywhere I go, I'm going to get pussy because over a long period of time, I'm going to figure it out. Right. Everyone always has an excuse of why they can't get girls in their city. Oh, you can't get girls in London. Bro, go to London, I'll tear it up. Put me in any city, in any country, bro, especially if you were to give me the same setup or a similar setup that I have in Toronto, bro, I'd be fucking killing it. Like, there's no question about it, right? It's just a matter of, like being able to like transfer what works in the city you're in to the different city you're traveling to, right? But then obviously, like, so I did that when I went to Medellin. I had a very similar setup when I went to Medellin that I do in Toronto. Besides the club stuff, like I didn't have any club access. I just had a sick penthouse and I just had like online dating and Tinder and Instagram, right? And dude, I got way more pussy in fucking Medellin than I ever do in Toronto. Like, not like more or less, like more like I would say like 30% more vag in Medellin than I do in Toronto, right? But it was like mostly online. And I do think Medellin, like the women are a little bit more promiscuous and a little bit more sexual, right? And the penthouse I had was fucking pimp, dude, pimp. So, like, who knows? So I don't know, man. There's a lot of similarities to Europe and North America, but there's a lot of differences as well. I think it really is on a person-to-person basis. It's really depending on what girl you talk to, right? It's really depending on where you go and what city you're in, and also your level of effort,
I wish I kind of showed this map earlier. The problem with it is, number one, who the fuck made this? Number two, whoever made this has most likely never been to every single fucking country. So where are they just like guessing? Like maybe they went to Argentina and a few countries here and there, but then they're like, let me just make that red. Let me just make North Korea orange. And then they're just like filling the blanks.
Wrong, but I think this was like a community built map. Like I'm pretty sure this was like a community built like fucking map. So
I think we should do the same at Game Global. I should have like, okay, American community, how would you rate the easiness? And then I could do the same for India. We have solid communities all over.
Like 90% of people, like 80 to 90% of people don't fucking travel, or if they have traveled, they haven't traveled much. And if they have traveled, it was like a family vacation. It wasn't traveling the world doing game. Like I literally spent fucking years traveling the whole fucking world doing game in like over 50 fucking countries. You know what I'm saying? And so like, yes, like I've seen this map and like, I don't completely agree with everything. It's like, I think Brazil, like it says Peru is easier than Brazil or Colombia. I think Brazil is easier than, and I think Colombia and Brazil is easier than Peru. And I think Peru is relatively easy, right? But I don't think Peru is easier than fucking Brazil and Colombia. No, but that's just my experience. Agree. That's my experience, right? So a lot of it's subjective, a lot of it's bias and that kind of thing as well. But yeah, man, I think like it's best to just go out there and find out for yourself. Like so I did when I was in South America in November, I did 40 women in 4 weeks. We did what the fuck was it? 7 girls my first day in Medellin. I'd never been to Medellin before. Right? So I spoke a little bit of Spanish, right? I had a lot of leads lined up from like like the fucking Tinder passport feature or whatever. So like first day I was there, 7 girls, 22 women that week. And then I didn't do the Tinder passport thing for Peru, but with a similar setup in Peru, like I did 6 girls there, I think. So the first week in Peru, right? And Brazil was easy mode, bro. Fucking easy mode. Like, so I probably could have done something similar, but like I just stopped fucking trying. So I think Brazil's very easy. I think Colombia is very easy, but I think Peru is like a little bit fucking more of a challenge but like it's still not a challenge. Like if you compare it to fucking North America. Now I think if you're a guy from North America who has absolutely fucking no game, you go to Peru, you're probably not gonna get the best results, or maybe you'll go out to the bar, get lucky. You'll be like a white guy speaking English, maybe a girl think you're cute, and then it'll be a little bit easier than you had it. But like at the end of the day, you have to learn social skills, you have to learn game, you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone, you have to develop confidence, charisma, personality, just push yourself, go out there and just fucking, dominate.
I think we should recreate this map. Maybe there are two ways we could do it. We could either do like a game global version where I ask every fucking
I think if
city.
anyone has the ability to do it, it's you, with
Exactly.
global.
Yeah, I just realized that a few minutes ago. Second way is maybe it's possible to look at statistics of, you said like in India, maybe the average amount of guys
There's a lot of
woman is
statistics out
had
there.
sex is
There's a
like
lot of
one.
statistics.
Then it could probably be based on simply the number, like something
The
like
issue is,
that.
even with a lot of statistics, it's like, where is this data coming from, and how can you
Exactly.
even like?
It's
You know what
not
I mean? 'Cause, like,
universal. But if we
yeah,
do a
so
game
I
global
saw a
version,
statistic that
then
said
at
women in
least
Turkey have the highest body count. But like, I don't know if I believe that. That's what the statistics say. It's like out of all the countries, women in Turkey have the highest like fucking body count of women worldwide. But I don't know if I fucking believe that at all, right? So it's really fucking hard to say. It's really, really hard to say how accurate these things are. But yeah, like I think again, it's on a person-to-person basis. Obviously, there's like cultural norms and societal norms. Because I've been to Egypt. I spent 2 weeks in Egypt. Now, I didn't go for game. I purely went for tourism. Maybe it would be a whole different experience if I went to fucking Cairo and stayed in a hotel, which is on Tinder the whole time. Maybe I would have teared it up because there's 25 fucking million people in Cairo. And I'm sure I would have found a girl on Tinder who wants to come over and fuck, right? But instead, I went on like a 2-week tour, right? And I was just bouncing city to city every day. So like, I didn't get pussy in fucking Egypt, right? But who knows? Maybe if I stayed in Cairo the whole time, maybe I wouldn't have gotten pussy. I spent like a day in Cairo trying to game a little bit, and not Tinder, not online dating, right? Just like the nightlife stuff, and like I did a bit of cold approach, but it wasn't like anything significant. And I found it very difficult to even find places where there would be single attractive women hanging out, right? And so obviously, a place like Egypt or Saudi Arabia are going to be a bit more of a challenge, right? And like if you're trying to do like, it depends on what you define as game. Like if you're trying to do cold approach pickup, maybe that's not the best place to do it. But maybe if you're doing like high level soul circle game and you have a friend who's like in government or politics or something like that, and they're doing some high level event, and like maybe there's different alternatives there, right? So like really you got to define like what is game and what type of game are you defining? Are you doing some sort of soul circle thing, right? Because I've done cold approach for fucking 10 years, and then I've also done soul circle game for 10 years simultaneously, right? So in certain places I go to, I'll like turn on what game I have to do, right? So when I went to Medellin, I was doing a lot of online game and turning that into like a soul circle type dynamic, where I was bringing over like fucking literally 15 girls at a time to the penthouse and just like creating like parties from online dating, right? But then in a city like Toronto, I built a soul circle over many, many years. So I have that. But then I also still do cold approach every now and then, right? But I don't have to rely on that at all whatsoever, right? But then, when I go to Europe, if I don't know anybody in a city I've never been to, then fuck yeah, I'll do cold approach. I went to Portugal in late 2022. First day there, I did like 150 cold approaches till I fucking pulled, right? And it was just like, it was very like casual cold approaches. We're just like bar hopping, dicking around, hanging with the boys. And then, like, I'm guessing 150 cold approaches, might have been like 80. I don't know. I wasn't counting, right? And a lot of them are very like surface level cold approaches, just being social, chatting with chicks, whatever, right? But I'm just out till fuck 3 a.m. and then I find a girl and I fucking take her home, right? So in different cities, different countries, different things will work better, obviously, right? Like if you're in LA or Vegas or Miami or Toronto, like getting into the right soul circles would do you better than anything, right? If you're just at the right fucking party, you're gonna meet girls, or the right venues, you're gonna meet girls, right? Versus if you are in, I remember I was in Australia backpacking through the I wasn't backpacking. We were like I was doing the whole East Coast trip across Australia. We're in like beach towns for 2 days at a time, right? We're staying in like nice places, but I'd pop over the hostel bars and just like fucking hit on chicks there. So like really it's like finding the right women where they hang out, where they, hang out. Cause if you're in fucking Magnetic Island off the coast of Australia, there's only a certain like population of like fucking 4,000 or some shit, right? Like there's only a certain amount of places you're gonna fucking meet single women who want to party, hang out, and have fun and meet a guy.
Antarctica. I think we've been thinking about this map the wrong way. If you see here, it says easiness to sexy by. So I think it was made by a newfie.
Wait, why do you think that?
Because it says easiness to sexy by. It's newfie slang.
Okay, I know I've never heard that slang before.
Only
Okay.
like hardcore East Coast understanding. Yeah, anyway, let's stop sharing that. I'm so convinced that I need to replicate that fucking map. Probably like two versions. That has like firewall potential, I suppose, but that'll be fucking crazy. Yeah, let's jump on to
Yeah, I really like what you've been doing with Game Global and everything, man. It's been fucking great. You've been crushing it.
It's completely insane. Yeah. 5 years strong, at least, something like that. Must be in 2019 or something. Let's talk about your nose. So I saw a video of Austin Summers,
Yeah.
and he said I don't know, maybe he got like his nose got fractured or something when he was younger, and
Yeah,
he went to get
Austin. He broke his nose playing frisbee, like ultimate. He plays like ultimate frisbee professionally, right? And he broke his fucking nose while playing a sport, right? So it's a bit of a different story. Like he had a crooked nose. Yeah. So sorry, I'll let you finish because you were asking a question.
Oh, I don't know that, but that's interesting. It was like, I wonder why objects get bigger as they come closer, and then it hit me. Classic joke right there. That literally happened to Austin, and that's fascinating. Yeah, his video was talking about, he mentioned you, because you had a rhinoplasty too. I think maybe you did a video about that. And he said,
August 2020.
huh? 2020.
I got a rhinoplasty in August 2020.
He said that you had a bit of a regret because of where you went was less professional, and like there were some things to be aware of.
No, that's not true. I actually, so like I had a roommate who's super into black pill, and like to this day is one of my best friends, but I think he got lost in the sauce a little bit.
Yeah.
And by the way, his game was fucking phenomenal. This man's cold approach abilities, fucking amazing. Like his game was his day game was some of the best I've ever seen, right? But he was just so like deep in like the looks max forms, the black pill shit. He just like felt the desire to fucking get a nose job. And I mean, to be fair, he was a male stripper. He's like competing with all these like jacked, steroided out male strippers and shit like that, right? So it makes sense why he'd gravitate towards the black pill stuff, right? Because that environment's just like so competitive. You got a lot of dudes like snaking each other for like money and like for like bitches and shit like that, right? So I understand where he was coming from. And the way he explained it to me was, look, if you can make yourself 1% better, and there's two versions of you, there's like one version of you that, you know, has no job and one that doesn't, you know, a long enough period of time. I mean, bro, if that means you get one new girl a year or one, like the girl's 1% hotter, like over a long period of time, man, that compounds and it's going to be good and it's going to benefit your life. Right. So I never, dude, I had done zero research on cosmetic surgery. I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. I at the time I had already, so I was in Mexico City. It's COVID lockdowns. I was right about to have a media scandal. And it was funny because I had built like a massive list of girls that were like watching my stories in Mexico. So I kept posting in Spanish, like in Spanish, I was like, mi mama, crio, mi soy feo, yo necesito rhinoplasty. My mom thinks I'm ugly, I need a rhinoplasty. Like I was just joking around, right? Like I was just like essentially clout chasing, trying to get the girls from dating apps, Tinder, DM me, set up dates, etc., getting correspondence, you know, whatever, right? Just like dicking around, right? I was bored as fuck during COVID lockdowns. And this fucking chick who's like a sugar baby strip or whatever the fuck from like Tinder messaged me. She's like, oh, here's my surgeon. Here's like, this is the best surgeon in all of Mexico for nose jobs. And the girl I was dating at the time, she's like a famous actress, TikTok chick. She's on a very famous show called La Rosa de Guadalupe. Ace, your wife is from Peru, right? So ask her about La Rosa de Guadalupe. She'll know this show. Okay. It's like the most famous Latin American TV show. It's like SpongeBob SquarePants for Latinos. And the girl I was dating had a fucking nose job. And my buddy was messaging me. He's like, dude, you're in fucking Mexico. It's super cheap to get a fucking nose job. I have access like the surgeon who was like apparently the best in the country. It was $900 for a nose job instead of like 15 to 20,000. Like if you're in LA, bro, you're spending like tens of thousands on a fucking nose job. And I was actually even thinking that I wanted to get into like mainstream, like media, maybe even because like, bro, at the time I was like fucking, I was like 24 years old. I had a hot Latina girlfriend who's a famous actress. I felt like I maxed out everything in my life. And I was like, what's like the next step? And it's almost like I was playing in sandbox mode where I was like, I had a 220 leg count at the time. Hot girlfriend that I thought I was going to be with long term. Fucking crushing business. I was crushing like every level. And I was like, what the fuck else is there? You know, and I like, dude, I've been feeling like this again recently. I was thinking, fuck, I should get a bunch of tattoos. Like, I don't know, I was just kind of bored. And then we started having the media scandal. And I was actually with David Bond and Bradicus. And we're like in the middle of like this media scandal popping off. And I literally just thought it'd be funny to get a fucking nose job and then post social media content, like, and direct it towards the media scandal and like just make jokes about how I got beat up. And like, and I was curious about getting a nose job and curious about what kind of results I would get and what kind of women I would get after getting a nose job. Okay. So I got the nose job, right? And I mean, I didn't necessarily even notice any results like right away. Cause obviously, you know, there's the recovery period, you know, like fucking, like obviously, like you can actually search up Justin Marc nose job and you see the before and after. And I definitely think objectively I'm better looking. It takes like 1 to 2 years for your nose to actually even like completely heal and take place on your face. And so it definitely changed how I look. And I'm definitely more physically attractive because of it. But dude, like, sure, in the last 3.5 years since I got the nose job, I probably smashed like 250 chicks or something like that. Thinking something like that, right? But it's like, dude, the numbers didn't even go up. They stayed exactly the same. Now, it's arguable the quality of the women I was getting were higher. It's arguable that maybe my social media content popped off. Maybe I'll come off more trustworthy from a nose job or whatever. I really don't know. And I don't know if there's a way to actually even measure that data. But, you know, I did it and I felt regret because I almost felt like it was kind of pointless. The recovery time, like the main reason I felt the regret was the recovery time was fucking horrible. Dude, I had black eyes for like 6 months. I really didn't feel like it was worth it. Fucking like to this day, I kind of have like breathing issues, but not like breathing issues. Like, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's like, I don't feel like I have my natural nose. I can constantly feel like the nose job. You know what I mean? It's cosmetic surgery. They're like fucking performing on your bones in your face, but I don't regret it. I think physically I'm more attractive, but on the other hand, at the time, there was a period of time where I did somewhat regret it. And the other reason was because I was at some point considering getting into fucking acting in Toronto, that like, because again, I was just like bored. I didn't know what the fuck else to do with my life. And I felt like I'd pretty much maxed out my career with dating. And I actually decided, you know what, I don't want to get into acting. But I know a lot of chicks in Toronto who are like famous actresses, like fucking hundreds of thousands of followers and they're broke. But I just thought it'd be a cool thing to do. And one of my buddies who's a talent manager also told me that a lot of like movie studios and that kind of thing, they don't want to hire Indian dudes with nose jobs because it's like, now you're not fitting the aesthetic, right? But anyway, long term, I realized like I don't regret it. I am more physically attractive. Like objectively, I like how I look. I like how I looked before. I was never insecure about how I looked at all whatsoever. You know, I was just more operating under the thought of like, if I could like, I was thinking of like Iron Man. If you can upgrade like the Iron Man suit, doesn't it kind of make more sense? Wouldn't things be better if there was like a small? And honestly, my buddy just convinced me. Like my buddy just convinced me to do it. So I thought it just made sense. I don't recommend most people do it. But like, if you can, why not? If you have the means to do it, why not? If you have the time and the patience to do it, why not? I don't think it's going to make any difference for the average guy with their game, right? Especially if like, because I was already getting really good results. The year before I got my nose job, I slept with 93 women. Okay. Last year, I did 106. Okay. So like the results pretty much were the fucking same. You know, I would definitely say there is a potential if you're doing like content creation, maybe you come off more likable, or maybe there's a possibility that you'll attract more physically attractive women, right? But there's other things you could do to improve your looks besides getting a fucking rhinoplasty that would do that, such as fitness, such as fashion, such as grooming, such as like, you know, just getting really good fucking shape, right? Or taking care of your health, you know, making sure you have good nutrition, you know? So like, I was also vegan for 3.5 years, and I didn't realize the mistake I was making. Actually, funny enough, it was Austin Summers who convinced me, came out to Toronto, convinced me, like, dude, this is
The
not
fact that
helping
you're
you.
a vegan, I've heard
And
that.
well, like, dude, I was still fucking a lot of hot girls. Actually, I was still fucking a lot of hot girls while I was vegan. But like, dude, I swear to God, I was 105
But
pounds.
were you eating her pussy?
I definitely was, you know. But like again,
So
dude,
you
I was,
weren't a
like,
vegan, really.
I want you to understand this, bro. Like, I was 105 pounds, or I think at my lowest, I was like 104 pounds. I was a skinny little Indian dude, fucking tearing up pussy, dude. Like, just killing it. And like, if I had to summarize like what that was, it was just game, bro. Like, it was just the game, the way it make the girls feel, right? And like, I definitely feel like just eating meat, getting good fucking shape. I'm in way better shape. Doing a bit of martial arts, right? Like, that did so much more for the quality of the girls I was attracting, right? And even my own confidence and my mental health and even the way I feel about myself than just getting a fucking nose job. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it really depends. But some guys have such deep insecurity. Like, I mean, if you had a broken nose and you're very insecure about it, then maybe fixing it will help you. Maybe fixing it will just lead you more insecurity. So it's a really hard thing to measure, right? And so when it comes to like looks maxing and that kind of stuff, bro, you know, it's a slippery slope because it's the place it's coming from. Like, I kind of just did it for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? Like, but like, I was considering doing DMT this morning, and like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, you know, but I always think like if there's something, because I have a buddy who's recommending I do DMT because it'll probably help me with expanding my consciousness. So like, I'm always like open-minded to different ways of thinking. Right now, I've never tried. I don't do drugs at all. I haven't drank in 6 fucking years. I don't do drugs at all whatsoever. Right, but I'm like, maybe, you know, buddy is right. Maybe fucking trying DMT would sort of help me. Right, so. You know, being open-minded can definitely benefit you, but a lot of the guys are coming from a place of insecurity, and if you're operating from a place of insecurity, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, just a note for people watching. I'm a Jew. I have a big nose, and I don't give a shit. And I'm pretty much gonna leave it there. I'm never going to alter
Not even that, bro. A
myself.
lot of girls are attracted to that. So I never necessarily even had a big nose, and like I didn't even look really Indian before I got my fucking nose job. Right. But it looked different a little bit, you know. I mean, I definitely wasn't as physically attractive, but like I've tested this and I've asked some girls, what do you think of me before nose job? What do you think? Like, I always talk about this with girls, and I've had some girls that say I'm definitely more attractive after. Dude, I've had some women that said I was more attractive before my fucking nose job. Right. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I think women generally like, but for some guys, like you might just have a fucked up nose. Right? For some guy, like weirdly enough, dude, like I found that a lot of my ex-girlfriends were Jewish. So like on a subconscious level, I must be attracted to women that have like those distinct features. And obviously like I've dated like fucking 4 or 5 different women that were Jewish. Right? So like on a subconscious level, I must be attracted to women with those distinct features. And some of those women had big noses. You know what I'm saying? So like some women will just like, you might think you have a fucking massive like nose or whatever. You might be like a Persian dude with a big nose or whatever, like, right? And then like some women are actually attracted to those distinct features, right? And so a lot of it's like cultural and societal, so it doesn't only fucking matter. And I think the biggest thing that would actually change your life is just learning game. But if a guy wants to get a fucking nose job or a fucking like whatever, you know, like some guys take it too far. Some guys, I know a dude.
You want to know who took it too far? There was that French billionaire who did a penis enlargement surgery and he had a fucking heart attack. Did you hear about that?
That's crazy. What the fuck? Did he die from that?
Yeah, he fucking died.
It's fucking insane, bro. No, I've heard, because again, like my old roommate was like into like the fucking looks max shit. And he taught me a lot about looks maxing. And I agree with a lot of the stuff with grooming, with fashion, with hygiene. It's the big, bro. Some motherfuckers go out and they stink. I've had students that come out with me, bro, and their breath smells. They smell like shit. They're not using cologne. They smell like shit, dude. And it's like, do you really think that's like, it's such a mind fuck. And it's like, then they're thinking, oh, I need to be tall. I need to be jacked. I'm like, bro, you smell like shit, bro. You know, like, it's like, focus on the stuff you can control right away, right? And all these things can be fixed as well, right? Oh, you're upset that you're scrawny. Okay, go hit the gym and eat healthy and eat better. And, you know, or like you're a fat dude, go hit the fucking gym and lose weight, right? And get on a fucking nutrition plan. right? Things like nose jobs can be, I mean, you can prove that as well, but you don't have to take it to that extreme. I know a fucking dude who got a limb lengthening surgery. I don't like, I think that's fucking absurd, bro. I'm 5'4" and I tear up, bro. I tear up. So like, what the fuck? Like the thought of it, and like maybe he just has this like deep insecurity. Dude, maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe if I was 5'11", I'd be killing at an even higher level. You know, but I don't know if I'd ever been motivated to crush it at a higher level if I didn't grow up short and, you know, have all that deep rooted emotional pain driving me in my subconscious, right? So who the fuck knows, right? But like, I think that's a bit extreme, right? I think it's a bit extreme. Like even when I got the nose job, the reason I felt like I regretted it is because like, bro, I had done zero research about anything cosmetic before going into it, especially like a rhinoplasty. I thought it was like getting a tattoo. I thought I'd go in and then it's like, you know, like a fucking 1 week recovery time. But I didn't realize I'd have black eyes for 6 months. I think my hair started falling out because like the stress of my body and stuff like that. Like it was just like, at the time, like the fucking first year doing it, I was just like, fuck, why did I do that? That was fucking so retarded because I didn't really know what I was getting into. You know what I'm saying? But like, obviously in hindsight, it's been 3.5 years later. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I have a fucking nice nose, you know, fucking great. But, you know, like for the average guy that wants a fucking nose, like I was just a retard walking in a fucking nose job. For the average guy that's, you know, doing those kind of things, like they're obviously doing a lot of research on it. And there's a lot of insecurity that goes around with that kind of stuff. So I don't recommend, I think there's a lot of things you can do right now. Get a fucking stylist, wear tailored clothing, hit the fucking gym, get a really good, expensive barber who can make you look like a fuck boy, right? There's all these things you can do that will make you way more physically attractive, and like your nose job would be like such a small factor in the end. Then if you want to do that too, great, you know, go for it.
Alrighty, let's leave it there. Thanks for joining the dating coach panel.
Hey man, thanks for having me on.
Alrighty, and for the guys watching, make sure if you have any questions for the dating coaches in the future for the next panels, leave a comment and I will add that to our document if it lines up for nicely. In fact, I do add most people's comments, questions in the comments to the lineup for the panels. So I do take this seriously and pass it on. Alrighty, and thanks for coming, Justin.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro.